The visor stays on during virtual insanity. Hello, Sharky.
Hey, Cass.
Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the Bad Game Hall of Fame. Welcome to Virtual Insanity, a Virtual Boy retrospective, episode 4. This is the show in which we retrospective the Virtual Boy for the last time. Boo-hoo. This episode will conclude our retrospective of the Virtual Boy library as we are covering the last 2 games released for it officially, covering some games that were not released for it, that were intended to be, but were not. How did that happen? I guess we'll find out. And then we'll highlight some homebrew, just to round things out, to show the state of the Virtual Boy community going into this century, the 21st, as I'm to understand it. Are you excited to see this one in the rear view mirror, Sharky?
Yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm not saying that as in I dislike this, but I'm ready to put a long-form series to bed before it reaches, like, 25 episodes.
Yeah, everything after Cursed Kart Racers will forever be, like, you know, that'll always be the benchmark for misery on the channel, just in terms of how long that went on for. So 4 episodes, nice, breezy by comparison, though I will say, the games have mostly been bad. That the Virtual Boy...
We've had some good ones.
We've had a small handful, but I think the conclusion that we will ultimately reach, and I guess we'll share some sort of conclusions at the end of the show, but to spoil those, man, you can see why this thing did not take off. You can understand with games like this, and also understand that Nintendo had no faith in it and the limitations of the hardware as it was developed, with it being in handheld in mind and that not materializing and blah, 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 business reasons. But also, get a load of these games, man. They're rough. And maybe the roughest game in this library to come tonight. So I'm happy.
See about that.
We'll see. But before we see about that, before we see visions of red and black dance across our eyes one last time, I want to see that classic graphic for our classic segment, Sharky's Stream Snack.
All right, tonight's stream snack. We're done with virtual meats. No more virtual meats. Tonight's stream snack is steak.
Damn right.
A red, juicy steak.
There it is. It ties in. You got it. We got it.
Yeah, there it is. And, well, I was going to tie in the red with the drink tonight, which is Flirt Strawberry Fling Vibrant Energy. The last of the Flirt flavors I happen to have. I did not get the guava, as I mentioned, but I think I'm good with these 3 flavors. Opening it very slowly to not spill it everywhere. Let's give that a taste. Oh. Huh. Definitely a candy flavor. Up front's a candy flavor. Cass, what are you having while I take another sip of this to get my thoughts together?
I'm in a bit of a 2-drink arc right now. First of all, we have on deck, as always, the Monster Juice Voodoo Grape. Get a bit of that grape energy in me. Secondly, 2 drinks, 1 for each eye. I got some Pabst Blue Ribbon, which does have red trimmings in the can decal, so that's how I tie it in. I want to go cross-eyed tonight. I want to get so drunk that the 3D actually works in my broken stereo blind eyes. All right. That's good.
So this strawberry, all right. Pretty strong up front. Pretty strong, just sort of, kind of the same. What was the last stream snack drink I had? It was on. It was the Humix, where it's having a little bit of that. It's a strong kind of acid, acidic flavor, kind of up front, but pretty quickly goes into just strawberry candy. Like, the grandma candies. The strawberry candies that are like wrapped in the little strawberry looking.
I certainly
wrappers.
Do. Yes.
It tastes kind of like that, kind of like somewhere between that and like a strawberry Jolly Rancher. It's like one of those two. It's in that range. And then that flavor kind of tapers off real quick and sort of just kind of dulls. Like the strawberry is still there, but it's like the equivalent of like just like looking at a light bulb and then turning the light bulb off. Just like it just dims real quick, and then it's like you can still kind of see that light bulb in that image burning your eye, but it's off. So yeah, pretty strong Jolly Rancher strawberry candy flavor up front, and then just sort of just dulls real quick. Not great. Honestly, of the three flirts, I think the blue one was my favorite. The berry tempting. Yeah, maybe I'll have the guava flirt at some point, assuming Monster doesn't cancel this. If Monster's not like, wait, girls don't drink energy drinks, and then just outright bin the entire brand. If I try guava, I'll let y'all know. But for now, I think that'll do it for Chucky Stream Snack.
Very good. Thank you, Sharky.
I will tell you though, postscript Stream Snack. I was going to have Impossible Steak this evening, but at 45 minutes till showtime, someone in this house just cooked a whole ass steak. So I wasn't going to eat a real steak while cooking a fake steak and make myself sick on stream. So we're having real meat tonight.
For the best.
Yeah.
I'm also going to get a little bit of bookkeeping out of the way at the top of the show here, where people are more likely to see it and hear it. That this is going to be the last time for a little bit that you're going to be on the show. You're going to take something like a 2-month hiatus, a 2-month break. You will be on Casual Monday this coming Monday. That'll be a proper send-off of sorts. Though I think you said that you might also just show up intermittently on Casual Monday.
Yeah, if I feel like
the urge strikes you.
I have a feeling that I'm not going to be able to go 2 solid months without being like, but I got to talk to people online. I got to be playing games on the internet for people. So there's a chance I'll show up on Casual Mondays. Also, this Casual Monday, I'm bringing something that we were actually reached out to play, which is why I'm sticking for this Casual Monday and not immediately taking a break.
It's also the 50th Casual Monday, so that we're going to be celebrating 150 hours of back catalog content for our patrons, subscribers, so on, so forth. Consider supporting the show, folks.
I will say the stream will go on in my absence, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. We are keeping things going. We're keeping the seat warm for you, keeping the Virtual Boy visors warm. That's probably not good. You'll probably want to wipe that down when you get back. But let us cut away to that main stage. Let us get some games going. The penultimate release for the Virtual Boy. We only have 2 official releases left, both of them from the year 1996. Remember that they discontinued it. Nintendo gave up on it in Japan first. So North America got 2 extra releases past the discontinuation date of the Virtual Boy in Japan. And who's to say that they wouldn't have, continued? If these games, if the Virtual Boy had suddenly blown up in North America, would that have stirred them to bring it back in Japan as well? Probably not. I don't even know why they even bothered with this effort, with this, charade of we're gonna, discontinue here but keep it going here. Stupid business decisions all around, which is almost emblematic of the Virtual Boy in a way.
Maybe they just had product laying around and they're like, well, maybe we can recoup if we just get this shit out.
Probably something like that. Probably more something like that. So, penultimate game. Nestor's Funky Bowling, which is as North American as it gets, considering that Nestor was a character from the pages of Nintendo Power, which, North American magazine. And he would show up in these little comic strips occasionally, hang out with his best friend Howard of Nintendo. And, this is his video game. They finally saw fit to give him a video game.
It's weird that he actually got a video game, and it's this one.
I see I am Headful in chat saying, hate this smug-ass kid. Maybe there's a reason why he didn't stick around as a mascot, if that's the immediate impression, the immediate reaction, the visceral reaction that he generates. Or maybe it's the fact they gave him a fucking bowling game. Why bowling? Who cares? Anyhow.
Well, I mean, if it's funky bowling, like we'll see how funky it is.
Oh, I'm expecting to be so funky. Oh, this is gonna not just be another fucking Virtual Boy virtual bowling game like the previous one we already played. This is gonna be all new and exciting and fucking incredible.
My curiosity is if it's going to be literally the exact same thing with a different coat of paint on it.
Different developers. I should mention this was developed by Sapphire Corporation on behalf of Nintendo.
That pretty much answers my question right away. And when I say different coat of paint, I just mean the same shade of red, just from a different bucket.
Yes. Let me level the volume a little bit, as I am keen to do. Hopefully that's good.
Squatula says, it can't be worse than Animaniacs Bowling on PS1. We would have to ask our resident Animaniacs Bowling expert, Slime Generator, about that one, because I have not played that one yet.
All things in due time. 2-player alternating play. I just can't imagine that. I imagine that being like a pink eye epidemic. I held a Nestor's Funky Bowling tournament, and all my friends are sick now.
I mean, if you're going to have this sort of pass and play on a Virtual Boy, you might as well have like 16-player, right?
Yeah.
Like, however many people you want to get in here. Have them all press their heads up against this thing.
This song's pretty sick. Oh yeah, that's my jam. Oh, yep, I see how we're doing this. Yeah, sure, I'll give you...
It's perfectly readable. Nice red on red. Alright, what's the feminine of Nestor?
We'll see. If they name her.
Oh no,
in
you
this.
chose your name.
Oh yeah, I guess they're not gonna name her. Maybe she's maybe the manual, which we don't have.
You know what? That's a good idea.
Alright, so I can move left and right. And I can stop this when I want to, presumably.
Is she gonna be okay with that? No, she hates that.
Guess I want to go a little bit to the right.
Okay. Planet Virtual Boy, what you got for me?
This at least has
Her
little
name?
animations. The previous game did not.
Her name is Hester.
Boo! Oh, that one went way off. The timing on these is...
Maybe it's a Lovecraft reference. Maybe it's actually supposed to be like Hester. Maybe she's the king in yellow. Who knows? Or the queen in yellow, I'm sorry.
This at least has way more personality, as mentioned. Has no pin action. This is brutal. Let's put a lot of English on this one and just completely miss.
Also, you were saying, who in chat said, I hate this smug little shit, looking at Nestor. You got nothing on how much the manual hates these two characters.
Oh my god. What does the manual say about these two?
Nestor says, Nestor is a conceited video game player and a notorious smart aleck. Years ago, he finagled his way into comic stardom in the face of Nintendo Power.
Using the word stardom as liberally as possible there.
Oof, this one's biting. After a glorious run of 40-something issues, Nestor called it quits. He spent a couple of years as a struggling actor before coming back to his bread and butter, video games. And then, you thought Nestor was bad, you should get a load of his overconfident twin sister, Hester.
Okay, twin sister, got it. I was curious about the connection, whether it was familial or not. This is really bad. Believe it or not, this thing I'm playing right now destroyed his dick on that one.
How does this compare to the other bowling game we did.
Way worse.
If you remember, okay, I was about to say if you remember, you're doing a better job than I am.
I know I eventually like mastered that shitty little bowling game in the other one. I was getting like stuff consistently. I just don't see it in this because. Come on.
I do. Okay. First of all, I want to say that this is this has to be better than that Symbol 2000 bowling game we played. That was
straight up broken.
Yeah, that just did not work by the laws of physics.
I was so close there. I almost had the spin on lock. That was
How
it.
funky would you say this was?
About 83.
Okay, that's
out of 830.
Oh.
It somehow did not make the scores here. It somehow did not make the top list.
I wonder if they're ever happy. I wonder if you can bowl like a perfect game, if they're still like that at the end.
If they're ecstatic about it.
We're just bowling now. Like, I like the lore implication in the manual that, oh yeah, folks, put on your 3D glasses.
Yep, for Charky's turn.
If you have your red and blues. I like the implication in the manual that, like, which music did you choose?
I chose C.
Okay, I'll go with B. That, yeah, it's fine. Anyway, the implication that this is in, like, a meta-universe where Nestor
Fuck
was...
off! Go to hell!
Anyway, the implication that this game takes place in our universe.
What the fuck?
Excuse me, I want to say my bit. This takes place in our universe, where Nestor was a comic actor, and then he was like, well, I'm fucking washed up now, I might as well just go bowl, I guess. Like, my life is kind of over. I don't know.
Go to hell.
Oh, this one's gonna go bad. Never mind, okay.
You know, at least we get to see all the animations. I guess I should, So, I guess you're not gonna have any complaints about how the pin action feels in this. I guess I can't rely on you for,
It's a little... Honestly, it's a little overly simple, I think. Oh, this is gonna be a bad one.
You can also, move left and right as you're walking up, as the arrow's on screen for the roll. You can put a little more English on it.
Well, I seem to have found, like, the main way to do this, although I'm not getting all the strikes I was earlier. Whoa!
Oh, yeah, I saw her eyes there.
Also, the 3D adds nothing to this.
Oh, no,
and
when
I say the 3D adds nothing to this, I'm not stereo blind like you are, but I'm not seeing anything here that even remotely approximates 3D.
Yeah, I can see what elements are separated visually and which ones are not, and I can tell what they're going for, and I don't think any of it, like, aids the gameplay. I think it's just two.
Yep. It, A, doesn't aid the gameplay, and B, is so subtle that it almost, like, doesn't matter. Man, I had it at the start, and I'm losing it now.
Well, I never had it, so... Doing better than I am.
Oof. It's not the one I wanted to hit.
So better or worse than Elf Bowling?
Oh, Elf Bowling's better. Elf Bowling's fun. Particularly Hawaiian Vacation. I love that one.
They left their spare tire behind that little graphic. They're gonna pop a tire and then be like, where the fuck's our spare? And it's like, oh no, someone went bowling again. And now we're doomed. All right, let's see if they give you a little more in the way of fanfare for making the high score list.
She's still gonna be depressed.
Are we just stuck on this screen? Oh, you gotta press start, I think.
Oh, start. Okay. Oh, just made it on the high score list.
Okay, good enough is.
Nope, they're still sad. They're washed up career-wise. Like, why do I think this would be my comeback? A bowling video game? Like, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, this game exists. You can turn off the 3D, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of challenge mode with music A, and then we'll. Yeah.
Like, this game exists in universe as Nestor's one chance to come back to any sort of relevance, and it's a bowling video game. Like, he knows. He knows that's it. You know what this is? This is Eat Lead, The Return of Mad Hazard.
Yeah, you know.
But with bowling.
When you're right, you're right. It has this challenge mode where you're challenged to pick up very particular pins. I think the other game had something similar to this. The other Virtual Boy bowling game, that is. Yeah, I wasn't shocked about that one.
I seem to remember not liking or having a harder time with the other bowling game, for sure. But,
then you immediately mastered
simple.
This one, so...
Yeah.
Whew. Okay, now this is the limit of my... You know, I got half of them. That's better than none.
I want to say you're right on the pin action because it doesn't... It felt like what I was doing to get, like... Whoa. Oh, I thought you were still going to hit it anyway, somehow.
Not quite.
Like, it felt like I was picking up spares or picking up extra pins in ways that I didn't anticipate getting them. Like, in ways that didn't seem to make sense. Like, the pin would just go kind of whichever way you wanted. It was like, oh, I guess I'm picking that up. Sure, I wasn't even planning on that, or didn't even think that would happen. Or, honestly, I was throwing shots that I was like, oh, I completely missed that. Like, that's not going the way I wanted. And it seemed like the ball was magnetized towards one of the pins. Like, oh, I guess I'm hitting that. I really shouldn't have hit that.
Doesn't feel good.
No. Yeah, not the worst bowling game we've played, for sure. As far as this show goes, this might be one of the best bowling games we've played.
That's still bad enough to be just an awful game, though. That was...
I wouldn't call it awful, but I would call it just meh.
Well, speaking of games that we can call awful, there's been one game looming over this entire segment. I have long held, since writing about it for the original Virtual Boy console review article for the Bad Game Hall of Fame, badgamehalloffame.com/virtual-boy, that this is the worst game for the Virtual Boy. We discussed on our previous episode Virtual Lab, which I contend is not the worst video game for the Virtual Boy, despite the popular narrative that it is. And funny enough,
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Turns out the worst game for the Virtual Boy is in fact a puzzle game. It is 3D Tetris by way of T&E Soft, published by Nintendo on March 22nd, 1996. The final game for the Virtual Boy.
And how bad could Tetris be?
Let us count the ways. Oh, I've been dreading this. I have legitimately been dreading this.
I've always wanted to get into some of the weirder Tetris spin-off things, but I have a hard time wrapping my head around them for whatever reason. Like Spheretris, you remember that on N64?
Vaguely.
Which I feel like is the closest thing to this that I can think of. I don't know. I never got into it. But maybe I'll get into this one. Maybe this is going to be the one that's like, oh yeah, actually, Tetris for 3D objects? That's perfect. Oh, Tetrisphere. Thank you. Not Sphere Tetris. Not Spheretris.
Delaying the inevitable, letting this music play out. Okay. We do have 3 gameplay modes here.
Mm-hmm.
We have Center Fill, 3D Tetris, and Puzzle. Can we go into these options? I see display there. How do I go down? Oh, I guess I
You almost had
up. Yeah.
Brightness.
We'll leave it at the,
how many eyes would you like?
4, please.
Now, if you have too many eyes, you'll start seeing monsters that you couldn't see before, so be careful with that.
We should probably start with 3D Tetris. It's the game on the name of the game, after all. It's set to level 2 by default. That's fine.
Sure. Oh, what's he packing? Oh, never mind.
So the characters are cute enough in the bottom left. What isn't cute is everything else.
To be clear, you're not doing this to the camera, right?
No, this is happening automatically. I mentioned that this happens automatically. This doesn't stop this camera movement unless you press select.
No, don't like him. No.
So let it be known that you can stop the camera movement. That is to shut up someone who, whenever I post about the Bad Game birthday for this, and I mention the constantly spinning camera, they always take the time to correct me every year to say you can actually turn the camera off. I'm like, that's not the point. The point is that by default it is doing this wretched movement, and that it is not good. It does not help to have it like this, so that you will need to immediately avail yourself.
Can you rotate your pieces like vertically?
No.
Okay, so you can't like flip it so it's facing upwards. You have to go bring it down like this.
Yes. I'm trying. Wait, hold on. There it is.
There you go. Yep.
Right D-pad. Okay, so that does help. I knew there was a way, but I wasn't figuring it out, so I was like second guessing myself there. But yes, you can. Rotate it in all of the 3 dimensions.
That does seem to make this more playable, if you can do that.
And it does allow...
Can you continue moving when those like floating pieces are coming down?
Yes, I believe so. That would seem to be. And any like gaps will autofill, basically, because of gravity. So it's just... The perspective is so fucking nauseating. This is so wretched. Let's see what this does. I want to see if all the pieces continue to fall after. No, okay, so we did leave a gap there.
Yeah,
but because these pieces are disconnected, this should theoretically work what I'm about to do here.
Right. I feel like this is a game that would have the best chance of working now with modern VR stuff, where you can just move your head and look. This system right now, also modern VR having more than one color.
That certainly helps.
I feel like doing it like this with the auto-rotating camera and the one color is like the worst possible way you could do this. Like,
just
giving
about
yourself the worst chance of enjoying this style.
And so, you know, to win at this, you need to, in case it wasn't obvious, clear an entire layer. What was that?
Look at his ass. Look at this dude's ass.
Damn, he's thick.
You could see it from the front. Anyway.
So this is just the worst. This is just not a fun variant on Tetris, which is a problem when you're making a Tetris variant. You should probably endeavor to make it good. Would be my guess. Would be like, you know, if I was to, you know, make suggestions, you know, a little armchair game developer, I would make a game that isn't completely awful, like a nightmare of tracking.
I can see everything they're going for to try and make this as readable as possible. Like on the right-hand side of the screen, where you have grid by grid, like, where are these pieces and where are the holes. And I can tell that the game moves, at least in this stage, moves slow as hell to try and get you to be able to read what's happening. But I feel like the concept is really being, like, overloaded by the system it's on. Like, the Virtual Boy was not the means of doing this game in particular.
No. Absolutely ill-equipped to handle this. Which is ultimately, like, not much anyway. Like, this is, like... There ain't much to this beyond just, you know...
I mean, Tetris isn't much in a way either. Like, base Tetris. There is a lot you can get out of it, though. There's a lot to... Granted, I don't think you're going to be doing much T-spinning in this one. I'll say I could see this working, but not here.
That is a very fair and equitable way of saying that this isn't good. It's impossible to keep track of. The 3D space, like the central gimmick of trying to keep track of this cube in the 3D space that it inhabits, it is so hampered. It is so impossible. And, you know, I can, like, control the camera in this sense. I can stop the rotation, then use L2, or just L, I guess, on the Virtual Boy, to cycle through these different angles. But none of these are particularly helpful. I want to be, like... There are times I would want to see this from the bottom. I think would be, like, a more helpful camera than whatever we're being presented with here. And that's not an option.
I'm trying to pay attention to the right-hand side of the screen for that. And this reminds me of... I have this puzzle game, like an actual physical puzzle called Canoodle. And it's just a bunch of, like, Tetramino-like pieces that you have to, like, arrange. And one of the game modes is, like, game modes. One of the puzzles is you have, like, a pyramid that you're building, and they show, like, samples of how to build them up. And it looks like this. Like, the how to build stage of it will show you, like, what color pieces go where on a grid. But since they're going up three-dimensionally, you have to kind of navigate in your head, okay, where's this in relation to, like, the 3 different planes it's on, and how is this going to fit into here? And it's a little hard to get used to, but in there, you at least have multiple colors, and it is a little easier to visualize than what this thing is doing.
Look at this, by the way. Every time I fuck up, it pushes out, I lose a layer. Until we're at this point, where it's impossible to get anything done. And it's all started because I couldn't figure out what direction my piece was facing because of the wireframe models and the lack of textures, making it, like, really hard to discern where you're actually dropping a piece, like what angle it's facing.
You got 3,000 points. That's a huge amount of points.
Abso-fucking-lutely unfucking playable. Let's see center
What about
fill.
the other modes?
Well, let's see how this goes. Then I'll let you take a stab at some of these.
Well, this didn't say 3D Tetris, so surely this is 2D Tetris. Oh, well. Okay, this Tetris piece I like. I like that one. Oh. It's her sister.
What's her number?
Okay, so what is the goal of centerpiece? Center fill.
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see what happens if I just put...
Okay.
I guess it deletes any piece you put there. I'm sure this is something that they would say in the manual or wherever else. I guess I'll just try to do a standard layer here and see what happens ultimately. I'll just have every piece lined facing forward until I can... But you understand, right? Just like you already understand why this is like unacceptable. That all it should take is like a cursory glance at this to be like, oh, this is a horrible idea executed in the worst ways possible. And yes, there is probably an alternate universe, an alternate timeline where there's like almost something like here where you could like take this concept and do it not the absolute worst. But that is not the timeline we inhabit.
This manual is doing a very bad job of explaining what this mode is.
Oh, I think I get it. Okay. So here's the idea. I'm leaving that center space open.
Right.
I can stack, I can continue to build out layers here. And then the second I send anything down there, it'll clear multiple layers at a time, basically. So it's the way of getting a Tetris, if you will, of getting like a high-scoring combination. Here, I'm going to build the second layer, then I'll call it there. Do it like this.
It's the wording on this in the manual is so strange. It says, place blocks symmetrically around the center square of each layer of the well, and then drop a block in the center square.
I completely lost track of it already, by the way. Sure. I was hoping to get, like, the second layer so I'd clear 2 layers at once, but that wasn't going to happen because the perspective is so fucking bad. Because this is such a bad idea. Because this is one of the most abominable fucking pieces of garbage that has ever existed. I think I fucked up again. I think I left another gap there that I just couldn't do anything about. Let's see. Let's send it like this. I think there's also a way to score, like, diagonally that even if I don't have a full layer cleared out... like, or a full layer, like, filled up, it gives you, like, diagonals and it'll clear a layer. Like, you see that graphic in the bottom right,
yes.
Right?
Like, there's this whole system where if you just make layers that have a symmetrical shape to them and drop it in the center, that counts. So if you were to, like, folks at home, if you look at the grid over there, if you were to take like row 2 and row 4 and just build a solid line across them and then drop one in the center, that counts as a score. In fact, it's actually showing on the screen right now on the bottom layer that even though it's not full, there's a symmetry happening. Okay, so I understand the symmetrical thing now. Oh, the manual has full color versions of all the Tetris pieces.
Oh, hell yeah,
in
it
here.
does.
Higher res illustrations. They're all still red.
Of course they are.
Like,
there, that's a score. That is as good as I'm going to do in terms of, like, scoring a combo in this. This mode does facilitate at least, like, making it slightly easier, possibly, to score to get yourself out of a pickle. Doesn't make it fun, but it does make it vaguely, like, playable adjacent. So that's something. What happens if I put a piece on top? Will it still score the bottom row for me? No, it won't. Okay.
you can score that bottom row if you... Oh, you can do that.
Now I can.
You actually could have before you did that too, but this is going to be a higher score, I think. Say something nice.
No.
Nothing? You got nothing.
No, I think this is one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever been forced to fucking play. And you could not force me at gunpoint to play this. I would take the fucking bullets. This is abominable. I think this is a fucking crime that this was allowed to release in the state that it's in. I think this is one of the most reprehensible, ugly, unwieldy pieces of fucking garbage that consumers were ever fucking fleeced by. I think this is the worst.
Well, Johnny likes the punk Tetris piece, so there's your say something nice.
I feel nothing getting points in this. I feel no sense of accomplishment. I feel no love in my heart anymore after this.
I'm being asked, what do I think about the little fellas? I think some of them are good, and I think some of them are terrible. I don't like this one.
I give up.
Ice, ice, ice. Oh.
Let's see puzzle mode, and then I'll let you take a crack
All right.
at this.
So you got to match the goal shape without misplacing a single block.
Wow, what a stupid, shitty, bad mode. This is no fun. What's the fun in this? What's the fucking puzzle? I guess it's like, you know, taking the pieces and like figuring out the best way to. I refuse.
This works in something.
And they take away the graphic. They don't let you. Oh, they have it on the sides, but they don't have like the transparent thing for you to try and fit.
That would be impossible to play at that point.
This is impossible. This is fucking impossible.
Like this, I feel like this kind of thing works like in Lumines when they do this, but Lumines has the benefit of working in, you know, 2 dimensions.
I can't do this. I have absolutely no idea how to do this.
Like, looking at how this is, I feel like you would have to spend a long time staring at that first screen to, like, divine, like, what you need to do. And which is longer than you would want to spend looking at the screen on a Virtual Boy.
I don't even know how I lost her. I thought I was filling in only pieces that were visible, that would have like matched up, but I guess I made a wrong move, and it just immediately like, you know, we're not even gonna let you try to fix this. We're not even gonna let you.
Oh, because it's impossible to fix it, because you.
Then let me like figure that out. Let me fail. Let me get to the point where I'm like, oh, I see what pieces where I would have needed to have used that previous piece. If you just cut it off, then I can't problem solve from that. I can't problem solve the second you cut me off.
Because
then it just becomes a game of I'll keep replaying it, and I'll figure out where I dropped this piece, right? And I'll figure out like which one doesn't end the game immediately. And then you're not solving a puzzle. You're getting fucking like trial and error.
I understand why it does that, because if you place one wrong piece, it would then cascade into you can't place any other piece correctly, or possibly not placing any other piece correctly. So I get from a logistical standpoint why it's like, okay, you fucked up here. Like, that's not solvable. Anyway. I'm not saying that's a good mode. I'm just saying I understand the logic behind that in particular. All right, Tetris A.
Absolutely fucking unacceptable. Absolutely worthless.
All right.
This is one of the most vile, rank pieces of shit.
Is there a
you might have
up?
Fun. R.
Okay.
Hold down R and it will more slowly, quickly descend.
Give me a lot of these pieces over and over again. Okay. That's actually not what I wanted to do. Oh, I can make this work.
And we're use right D-pad to do the fancy three-dimensional spinning. You know, not having the regulation pieces either is definitely a pain point. I mean, I guess, you know, what are you gonna do when it's in this perspective that you need like weird pieces to make this horrible idea like work? But it also means that like I just don't know what's coming at any point in time. I can't like predict like, well, it's gonna be one of these like 7 pieces that I'm familiar with.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I just realized that wasn't gonna work. So,
Now remember, I can't be critical about this game. Everything I just said is wrong because you can press the select button to stop the rotating. So that solves all the problems that I've had.
I actually see where the rotating would help. Kinda. And kinda is being generous.
Oh, this is me being petty against that one person who doesn't shut the fuck up on Twitter every time we post a bad game birthday for this, thinking that they've somehow solved my problem with the game, as if my problems with this game are not multi-layered and multifaceted and have to deal with every design decision made by these. I want to be diplomatic. I don't want to, you know, be too hyperbolic when referring to developers, as these potential serial killers in the making who made this game. You know, as they were scheming up a way to slowly and subtly kill the youth of America in developing this game. You know, it's just every decision they made being the wrong one in this.
This is more... Oh, wait. Hold up. I feel like this is more playable than it seemed when I watched you play it. It's still not good. What do I want to do with this piece? Oh, actually, wait.
You're running out of time. You're running out of distance.
I'm not even going for anything fancy here.
No, you can't.
I was thinking like I can see how I would set up like a multi-line clear, but I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right
an
now.
option. You know, it is the way to play, but you have to think like 5-dimensionally. You have to play like 5D chess against this fucking game to like come up with a way. I mean, I guess the way is like the center fill, right? You just leave something that you leave a hole between layers.
Right, you leave
that
one
you can,
singular hole, and then you like rotate the correct piece to get in there.
But like spatially speaking, and it's the second you have any gap in a layer, right? The millisecond that you accidentally leave a hole in one layer, it just becomes completely untenable. It becomes like basically unsolvable, unworkable at that point. You just have to clear the layer above it and the layer below it, even though this should, like, you know, the appeal of this, the idea of 3D Tetris in my mind is if I make a mistake, like, with the ability to move stuff in 3 dimensions, I could theoretically, like, move a piece between 2 layers would be, like, the thing I imagine doing that you could only do in 3D that you couldn't do in traditional Tetris. But they make that impossible here. That's just not an option that you have.
And that better.
Because of the perspective being always above and never, like, from the side. No way to adjust the camera in such a way as to, like, make fine movements within, like, the layered space. So it doesn't have that USP going for it.
What's my next? That. Okay. Yeah, that should be good. Whoops. I have to remember, like, what buttons actually do things. I am... I hate to say this. I'm not having fun, but I'm not having not fun. I don't hate this, but I do think that this was poorly considered. Like, what they were capable of and what they were actually able to accomplish with it.
I saw you struggle there because of the wonderful perspective in the wireframe.
It was kind of more the me confusing what buttons did things, to be honest.
I just lose track of this shit completely past a certain point. It's impossible for me to visually parse when by the time the pieces are in the playfield and we have the lines that make up, like, you know, the notations for where the layers are, by the time it intersects with that stuff, I lose track of the pieces completely. That could be because I can't see it in 3D. I fully accept that could be a contributing factor here, so I don't have the benefit of, like, being able to play like this and, like, having, like, I don't know what I would
say
have.
That this doesn't help. This 3D thing does not help at all. This is not adding to anything. Not where I really want this to go, but we're just gonna have to go. See, now we're running the problem. You see my bottom board is real busy, so I'm just gonna have to focus on the top board now. And that is going to increase the difficulty of making this work by a lot.
And how are you going to deal with that that gap space? You have a block above your 4th row, 3rd column on the first layer.
What I'm gonna have to do, honestly, is like just kind of work around it and get my way down there, like, eventually.
Did you create another gap? I think you created another gap. I think your 3rd row, 4th column is...
Yeah, I see where these... Okay, so now this is really becoming an issue.
Yeah!
I am... At a certain point, normal Tetris can feel unmanageable if you get a bad board. This gets there way faster.
It gets there immediately. The second you make any mistake, like you just made another mistake there.
No, I knew that was happening. I sort of saw that coming, and I was like, yeah, that's just gonna happen. That was me having a hard time turning the piece where I wanted it to go.
Don't make excuses, Charky. I mean,
I'm not saying...
don't blame yourself.
No,
blame the game.
No. That is the game's fault for me not having a hard time figuring out where to go because of how this controls.
Oh, that's real bad.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was happening, and I couldn't figure it out because of... Now we're really getting into trouble of all the same color just blending everything together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't slide a piece in. Yep, I know. I don't like this system for fucking up either, where it just becomes progressively
harder,
less possible to play the game.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not gonna ever go there.
I mean, this is unwinnable. There is no way out of this. Eyes. Give me eyes. This helps? Okay. What is that for? Why is that called eyes? You could use that to use that screen as a point of reference while you adjust the dial, the physical dial on your Virtual Boy. The distance between your eyes, the distance between the two screens, if you need to adjust that.
I would say this is fine up until a point. Up until the point where it starts getting more complicated. And the game's just over here, so I don't even know why they're letting me. But when it's in its base form, this is completely doable. Once it gets a little more complicated, once like you make kind of one mistake and it starts piling up like that, this game is not, or this system is not equipped to handle this style of game. So yeah, I don't think this is a bad idea for a game, and I see all the concessions they were trying to make it work on the Virtual Boy. I think ultimately putting it on the Virtual Boy was the death knell of this thing. I don't think this is ever going to work on this console.
I think this is a bad idea done in the worst possible way. Again, there's a version of this game that isn't the worst crime ever committed by human hands in some alternate plane of existence on some different console where you can do a 3D Tetris with this rule set, probably fucking tweak the shapes of the pieces so they're more standardized, and probably make like a whole bunch more like, mechanical changes and logic changes. But like, the basic conceit of it, right? Not on the Virtual Boy, though.
Yeah.
This is as bad as it gets.
I think we might argue over that a little bit, but we'll see.
I guess we'll see when we get to the rankings, but that was 3D Tetris, and that, to me, is the worst game for the Virtual Boy, bar none, hands down, no debate, no fucking alternative. It cannot possibly be anything else other than that. But we'll see when we get to the rankings, I suppose. I hated every millisecond of that, Sharky. And that's the last game released for the Virtual Boy. That's the last one. That's the note they went out on.
So let's bring up the ranking screen.
No, not quite. Oh. Soon. And by soon, I mean 2-3 hours from now. But we have some other games I would like us to consider. Let's show another slide, why don't we? 2 games that I would love to play tonight, but that I will not be able to. Dragon Hopper and Zero Racers, also known as G-Zero. These are 2 games that were in a prototype state that were due to be released for the Virtual Boy, but alas, did not. In fact, there's a whole list of games that were intended to come out for the Virtual Boy and ultimately canceled for one reason or another. There's actually a very detailed list on Wikipedia that not only includes the titles of the games, of the 34 games that are known to have been in development and not ultimately come out for the Virtual Boy, and they even have descriptions for each of those games as well, notes and reasons, as they put it. You have stuff like the GoldenEye 007. the N64 game, how at a point during that game's development, it was schemed as a Virtual Boy game that would have primarily been a driving racing game of some sort until they pivoted and instead made one of the most important and consequential first-person shooters of the consoles. There was a planned Star Fox game, or at least a tech demo that they showed off at a CES or at an E3 that ultimately just doesn't materialize. They get into a bunch of stuff on there. But these two games in particular, Dragon Hopper and Zero Racers, are games that people will be able to play in the coming year, if they're not already out, on the Nintendo Switch Online with the peripheral. If you've bought into that ecosystem, as part of the perk, that these two games will finally be preserved and playable on that service.
Here's hoping someone rips them somehow.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen at some point or another. Nintendo can try to copy, protect this stuff till the end of time, but smart people will always find a way to dump that stuff. Now, there is another game. There are several. There are 3 prototype Virtual Boy games that have been leaked already, that are playable, that have been playable for a very long time, as a matter of fact, within the Virtual Boy community.
I Am Headful says, wonder what that game's speedrun scene would have looked like, and I can't help but think that you're just taking a dig at me at this point.
I don't think so. Zero Racers, by the way, in case it needs to be said, was planned to be an F-Zero game. I should have probably mentioned that before we were move away from the slide, that it was intended as a Virtual Boy F-Zero game. And so you'll see that. You will see the culmination of that when they eventually put that out on the Nintendo Switch Online service or whatever. But what a game I don't believe is making it to the online service, to that catalog, despite the fact that it is playable, that we're going to play it right now, is Bound High. I was trying to triple check to see if this one was coming to the online service. So maybe you can triple check for me. This is a game by
they've made the announcements.
Japan's System Supply. This is something like a 3D top-down platformer puzzle game type thing. I mean, we'll see it when we see it, which is to say we're going to see it right about now. And this is one I think that people have discussed as being, why did this one come out? This one seems like it was basically feature complete. This one seems like it was, like it could have been something that it leverages the 3D more than some games that actually came out for the system did. I like the song, certainly. Leveling the volume.
I don't think there's been any news recently about additions to the Virtual Boy library, so nothing
That's
about
cute.
this.
That's mad cute. Adventure of Chalvo. Score Attack. Random game, pocket and cushion. Okay, so another thing about this game of some interest, I believe, is that the main character of it, I think, does go on to appear in a Game Boy game that Japan System Supply later puts out, in like a different style of game, if I'm getting the facts straight on that. Johnny keeps making the joke. Someone's got to try making the Virtual Boy run Doom. We'll get to that later tonight.
Sasquatch says it's still wild to me. You cannot play the Virtual Boy online. I think I've had a headset. Like they don't let you play without the headset. Okay, so I did look into this. You can, kinda. It's projecting 2 images on the screen, so you can play the game, but in like a maybe 1.5 by 1.5 square. However, if you have 10,000 Days by Tool, that comes with 3D glasses that do work with the Virtual Boy app. So,
but, oh no! Okay, nope. Okay. Hold on. Nope, can't do it. Oof. Okay, this is gonna do the same kind of perspective that the Jack Bros game did, and this one's gonna make me sick. This one's gonna make me ill if I try to play this. Okay,
play this
yeah, I can look at this, but I don't think I can navigate the space.
Anyway, for any practical sense, no, you cannot do without the headset. All right, am I good to go?
I believe you are, yes.
That's a spicy meatball.
Oh, okay. This one's not in the database, by the way.
Okay, so my goal is to pop the bubbles. I don't like the, say something nice. Well, I'm going to do the opposite because I was in the middle of the sentence. I don't like how not smooth this up and down movement is. There's a slight jerkiness to it, a slight acceleration that does not feel good.
I will say something nice, that this is probably the only Virtual Boy game to really utilize the depth, you know, the scaling, in a way that is, like, effective. You know, going in and out. It utilizes the 3D space in a way that is creative. That makes some amount of sense. So I think you can...
Attack me if I jump on the wrong foot. Like, okay, so that will break under me. I was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, the ones that aren't pockmarked.
Come here, you.
And if you were to like knock out the floor beneath them, you probably would have gotten more points for that, I imagine. That there's probably a way to earn more points by knocking the ground out from underneath people.
Oh, those pieces just fucking send you flying. Okay. I can 100% see people getting real fucking motion sick at this.
Yeah, I think our moderator, Carmen, has given up on looking at this one, along with me. Which is a shame, because this does look cute. I do like this little guy. I can see this game
make him
working.
as clear as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, that hurts.
Who's that guy? The Vectrex game. He's like the star of it. Spike, and he's just like a little like vector graphic man. I feel like he'd hang out with this guy, with Chavo.
It's not Chavo.
That was
Chalvo, right?
Chalvo. Try landing on that sparkler.
I think I have done that a couple times. I think that hurts me. Although I don't know what health I have. I think I just have lives. Whoa! Plasma stage! Does it turn into like a side-scrolling shooter? No? Okay. Huh. Oh. Understood. No?
Yeah, to really hit it from like the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the side.
Oh, I don't like how that happens. Okay. Oh, that was quick. Okay.
Perfect.
I don't like the physics on that, TBH.
Yeah, the physics don't seem particularly reliable.
I'll tell you, this would have been sick on coolmathgames.com.
Cool Math Games Core.
That's what it is.
Core.
Like,
yeah.
Put this right next to, like, Run. Run was sick, though. I played so much of that game. Ah, come on, fall.
We do gotta see what the other game modes in this are, or what the other options from the menu are.
Because if it was just this would be very slight.
Well, now we have slots, so try dropping in that center. Oh.
Yep, there we go. What do I get? Oh. I wish I could have done more of that.
So it looks like they are inventing stage gimmicks.
Yes.
On a per-stage basis at this point. I'm sure they'll run out of tricks eventually.
I don't want to test it. Oh, get back. Okay. This is kind of my read on this right now, is that this is a sick Flash game. I don't know if this is good for the Virtual Boy necessarily. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. This is probably good for the Virtual Boy given what it is and what it's doing with like 3D in general. I don't know if this is a good purchase for a home console. Like, what would this obviously didn't come out, but what were Virtual Boy games like retailing for?
I'm gonna pull a number out of my ass here. $29.95 USD.
Let's see, in 1996 money, that feels kind of
Power Demagogue.
This changed. I've said before, I love a good boss warning. This is a kind of a shrill one, but did we stumble into a different game? What did it say to watch out for, by the way?
It's tail, maybe.
Okay.
Or probably that spiky thing, whatever that might be.
I wonder if I could just knock the boss off of the level.
You could certainly corral him by, you know, cutting off part of the island, Dig Dug 2 style, right?
Oh, got him. Good thing, too, because I got knocked way the fuck out.
Bonus stage.
Not to be confused with a plasma stage. Ooh. Okay. For some reason, I was kind of hoping this was going to be like a memory game. Like, flip the thing over and a picture of a boat.
As the memory game enjoyer here, I would dread a memory game that has this many tiles on it. Are you kidding?
This many tiles, 20 seconds, and it takes this long to actually get across the screen. I wonder, you know what I'm going to do? Next thing, before we go to the main menu, I need to hit some buttons and see if anything happens, because I've just been using the D-pad.
Cleared World 1.
So I'm wondering if there's like a quick fall, or a gun, or something. CDC.
Call him up. My god! Shalvo, you killed an entire planet! An entire population, entire
Off to the next one.
species.
Alright, let me hit some buttons real quick. No. Okay, I don't think buttons do anything. I think it is just D-pad. Okay, I think we can A, move on to the next thing, and B, test 3D.
Yeah, let's restart the console. If we want to pick up where we left off, remember, password CDC.
See that intro again? Yeah, it's a good intro. Alright.
Pocket and cushion. So score attack, I'm imagining, is just like, you know, timed.
Yeah, getting a score. Random game, I assume it's like a random layout of tiles. Pocket and cushion. Whoops, Nintendo.
Yeah, we'll see this in 2D for a bit before...
Oh, it's pool.
It's mini golf?
Or mini golf, yeah. That's seconds, not shots. I wonder how this escalates.
Well, you got four holes. Oh, no, there's probably more than 4 holes. I noticed an arrow in the bottom right. You have to select a different stage, Charky.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the case.
Yeah.
Well, let me just finish this stage real quick. That's probably the fastest way to do this.
Slime says that a random game chooses something else from Cass's launch box. Yeah, they cooked up some launch box integration here. All right, so notice
says,
how...
I think I'm getting my Chalvo legs the more I see of this game. Yes.
See how many stages there are. 18, I'm imagining. Okay, 16.
16. The way it says pocket and cushion, I think in their mind they were thinking pool.
Yeah.
Because there are pool games like for NES I can think of that are kind of like this. Like what is it called? Cosmic Pool, Galactic Pool.
Galactic Pool. Yeah. Or Lunar Pool. Lunar Pool.
Lunar Pool. Yeah, thank you. I gotta say, not a huge fan of the physics model in this, as I've mentioned in one of those other levels.
This is at least like a fun little bonus mode, though, that they put work
A little
into.
low stress too. Yeah. Although I do notice there is a minimum score to be a level.
See what the last stage looks like in this. Just jump directly to 16.
Nintendo. A lot of balls.
Multi-ball.
I mean, I'll get my points easy. Look at that. I've already won. I just have to actually finish this.
Good luck.
I wonder if they're just gonna go forever. Well, okay, they'll stop once they get in here.
Lol N in chat says, or Lolnin. Well, we'll work on pronunciating that. We'll work on that. So it says that you've already won, but you cannot leave.
That's true. Get in there. Good enough. Oh, don't come out.
You know, folks say that I've been called everything from smug to delusional to performative and whatnot. My opinions have been said to be contentious, and that my personality is noxious, and that I'm unfair to these games generally that we play. And that 3D Tetris segment, that might be evidence of some of those claims, more proof for the haters. But I will say this, and this will immediately win everyone over, and prove that they are wrong to ever doubt me. That despite the fact that this game makes me fucking physically ill to look at, that I think this is pretty neat. This is a pretty neat collection of content here in Bound High. Do score attack, and let's do it in 3D.
Yeah, a little slight maybe for...
Also, they packed a bonus mode in. Yeah.
All right, I'm putting my 3D glasses on.
I think this is cute and cool, and nauseating at the same time. Yeah. So
I think ultimately I do like this. I've been kind of saying some negative things, but this is one of the better ones we've played.
Ooh.
Oh, that was fast. Okay, you're only getting the score. You don't need to get everything.
Sick.
Whoa, really ramping it up here.
Goodbye, Chalvo.
Yeah. Nice.
How would you get score on this one besides just knocking the tile out from underneath this?
Does that count as score? No. Yeah, I think I have to wait till he gets back onto... Yeah, I can't push him. He's just going to push me. So would you please get onto something I can break?
Carmen in chat says, this is at least a unique idea with charm that uses the console's main gimmick well, so it's ahead of the majority of other Virtual Boy games. Yeah. Well put.
I want to say I've played something like this on NES, but I can't remember what it was called. I think you play as a rabbit robot in that game. I'm not thinking of Jumping Flash.
I was about to say, are you sure you're not thinking of Jumping Flash?
But no, the same general, like, you're breaking blocks and getting rid of enemy stuff. I think that game had, like, more power-ups and stuff, though. I don't know how to beat this thing. It doesn't want to get off of this. And when it's on something, like, it's real hard to like navigate around it to hit the.
Try hitting it now. I think it's like stuck in position that if you do it, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Unfortunately, not nearly enough points.
Yeah, I don't know how you get more points in this
That's
case.
all right. And then
Nintendo.
I want to see what random is. I do want to see what random is. Yeah, this is random, all right. I think it might just randomly generate a stage for you, or just drop you into one of the existing stages.
Oh, wind.
At random.
Wind. I don't know how to fight that.
Radjago says, Super Glove Ball? I don't think that's the game you're talking about, but I think this does have elements of Super Glove Ball in it. That is a very good point of comparison, I will say. Except that game wasn't doing the scaling, right? You know, you were moving your Power Glove around and tossing the ball against the wall and, you know, knocking the tiles out, and the ball was scaling, but this is you moving up and down, like...
I don't know if I'm getting my Chavo legs, as Carmen said it, or if it's the 3D mode that's doing a little bit, but this is becoming less nauseating. Like, I wasn't ever really motion sick with this, but I was very early on, like, I can totally see how this would get someone motion sick. But it feels like less choppy to me now.
Creative Name 36 says Bounder.
That could have been it. That sounds right, actually.
I'm gonna load up a screenshot of that. Looks something like this.
I think so.
For the NES, yeah. That might be
something like that.
Might
be I'm sure there's a lot of games that, you know,
traffic in that sort of idea.
Did the same thing. Yeah.
Now, that being said, all that being said, let's see that cat in 3D.
Oh, it's not gonna be.
Little bit. Did it a little bit there.
Tiny bit.
That's gonna have to do it for Bound High, but yeah, they should have put this one out. They should have just released this. They should have gone ahead and released this, and they should put this up on the NSO. Because it is definitely, like, the most... This is the game, in my mind, that I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, this could have worked as, like, a Super FX game on the Super NES, but I do think that this would have really clicked on the Virtual Boy for some folk. So there you go. We found one. I think we had a couple. There's a couple games that we have said have not been terrible so far. But that I think we need to rank that one. I do think that one is worthy of ranking. I do think that is...
Creative Name asks, what makes you guys think this won't be on NSO? I mean...
Because they announced the entire lineup of games that they were going to put on NSO between the initial wave of releases and the later wave of releases, and I don't believe Bound High is listed on either of those.
I don't think they ever said this is the full list, period, but we'll see. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to say, and we're done with this thing now. But we'll see.
Speaking of done, we're not done yet. We still have 2 more prototypes that I want to go through. And the next one is a squeakquel to a game we have played already as part of the proper releases for the Virtual Boy. It is Virtual League Baseball 2! Developed by Kemco, Unreleased.
Forbidden Baseball.
Is this just going to be a roster update? I don't think it is. I think it's probably going to be... I think there is a description of this. I will read it. I'm going to have you play this, because I think you tolerated the original game.
They revealed what the hidden 4th base was, and that's why they had to cancel it. They knew too much.
Okay, so I have a description here. This is from probably Planet Virtual Boy, where they lifted this description for the Launchbox database. You get this started. Kemco planned to release a successor to Virtual League Baseball, or Virtual Professional Baseball 95, as it was called in Japan, in March 1996, called simply Virtual League Baseball 2. But the game was ultimately canceled due to the Virtual Boy being discontinued. A single screenshot of the Japanese version is known to exist, which has been printed in various Japanese magazines. The North American version, Virtual League Baseball 2, received a kids to adults rating from the ESRB. I don't care. Get to the part where they say, okay. While the core gameplay has been much refined compared to the predecessor, major updates also have been made in terms of graphical appearance and the game making better uses of Virtual Boy's 3D capabilities. Furthermore, the Japanese version has realistically shaped players, as in the North American version, instead of the predecessor's super deformed ones. Oh, those were way cuter. There have been new stadiums added to the US version for a total of 3, and at least 1 new stadium had been added to the Japanese version, judging from the ceiling of Tokyo Dome Stadium that can be seen in the screenshots.
All right, I saw a chat popping up for Chile, so we'll do that. Okay, I'm gonna piss off some of our crowd now, but I'm looking at the the flag for Chile and the flag for the USA here, and the very least on here, this seems like this is like the starter Pokemon, and this is like the evolved form.
Shut up.
Like the flag levels up and gets more stars and more stripes. It tried to do the music.
You gotta pick a team. Thank you. I'll rise for a national anthem. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was picking based on what a national anthem did I want to hear. Yep, that's all good. That's all good. No, thank you.
Red text with drop shadow on a red background.
Computer, do it too.
We can
So
go
the
to
American Dome, the Asian Stadium, or the European Dome. Is there one you wanted?
Let's see Asian Stadium. Let's see if that's the Tokyo Dome.
Okay. That is the shortest center distance and corner distance. Tiny field. The Russian Rudolphs? What was that?
Sputnik is the name of the player on the mound right now. Are you pitching or striking?
I am batting. I am definitely striking out, though. I get used to the timing. Baseball games in general take a long time for me to warm up to, like, what the specific timings are.
Sure, and not having the graphic on screen, like the little batter's box graphic to help you. Which I think was my major complaint about the previous game, wasn't it?
There we go. Alright, just stay on first. I like this music. It's real peppy. I feel like I gotta swing like way earlier than I want to. Okay.
Maybe the 3D perspective will help.
I don't think I can change where, like, that was obviously a ball, that was my fault, but I don't think I can change, like, where I'm batting towards. I think I'm always going to be batting towards, like, just right there.
Try using different buttons. Try using the D-pad. Or the right D-pad.
Yeah, that's not really doing anything.
Full swing on the right-hand side, it says. I think you are changing batting types by using the right D-pad. Full swing. There might be like a bunt at the very least.
There is a bunt, for sure. Sorry, Chile. Alright. Okay, I can use the right D-pad to... Everyone back off. Everyone get in. These buttons don't do anything. What was that noise?
Them sliding into second.
All right.
Yes! There you go. You got it.
All right.
All right, that was Virtual League Baseball.
How was
that's
that a
pop
hit?
fly. You gotta grab that one. You gotta snatch that one. Yes.
You're gonna run now? That's gonna know. At some point, he's gonna get bored and like let his foot slip off the thing. I feel like I have more control over my pitches in here than I did in the last one.
Yes, you absolutely do. The other game didn't have meter, for one thing.
My dude, you were asking for a beanball. What are you doing? Why are you
Give him what he wants.
The...
I say...
All right.
Never not funny.
Did you see there was a yeah,
Oh,
he
stole
was going for it.
Yeah.
Did you see that there was a bench clearing brawl like last week?
I did. I saw them throwing haymakers, the wildest haymakers I ever done seen. It's the only time when baseball is exciting is when they fight each other. Otherwise, very boring sports.
I should have let him. I couldn't tell who had it, so I didn't know if it was my first baseman or my catcher right there.
I did read that Baseball Yuri comic, though, that got posted the Blue Sky the other day, and that was good. That was a good comic.
That was a ball?
I will, oh, sorry. Wrong window. I popped up an element on, a stream element on. I was gonna go ahead and link folk to the Baseball Yuri comic that I enjoyed. Here you go.
I'm getting annihilated out here.
Yeah, it's not going well. We may never see you bat again. That's a good way to check how many different variations of the safe line read they have, though.
I need to stop pitching them that low. I need to start pitching them that high. There we go.
Now, if it was a little more centered, you'd be... That's a good one.
Yeah, that's right. Golf for it. Is there a way to just say, like, let's go back to the main menu so I can bat again?
You can try L, R, A, B, start, selects, etc.
Oh. Huh.
You can call an audible. You can, like, call someone out. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to restart you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put you in 3D.
Yes. Let's see if that helps me with batting. I doubt it. I'm going to be glad to not have to use these 3D glasses anymore. These are very small and it's very annoying.
I felt that.
I assume Pennant Race is just going to be play multiple games in a row. I assume All-Star Game is going to be some sort of, like, championship thing again.
Yeah.
So. Alright, who are we going to be this time?
Well, you know, you should probably check the options. See if you can Nintendo back out of this. What were they?
Don't remember, but nothing. Like, fielding was semi-auto, which I wanted. Designated hitter, that's more like stat stuff than I care to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do. Like, I don't care if the pitcher bats right now. Alright, let's hear Australia's theme song. Let's hear their theme song. Alright, and how about India?
Creative Name 36 says, have y'all talked about the cool canceled games yet? This is one of them. We're playing the prototypes right now. This is one of the canceled games.
We also did that,
we played Down High so far, yep. And there's one more. There's one more I got up my sleeve. One more that is available. One that I am looking the most forward to showing off.
Let's go to Europe. Ooh, that's a better shot of it. Why is there a koala in the kangaroo's pouch? How did he get in there? Yeah.
This is definitely better than Virtual League Baseball 1.
Yes, absolutely.
I still would not want to play this. But that is personal taste to an extent, obviously.
I don't know how to do that. The 3 doesn't help so much because I feel like you still have to swing extremely early. So Like, I still don't have shouldn't have strung at that period.
Creative Name 36 is mentioning the crazy ones like Virtual Boy Mario Land. I mean, Virtual Boy, there wasn't going to be a Virtual Boy Mario Land. That's just not something they were working on. All of my research led me to believe and understand that there was not a Virtual Boy Mario Land. The closest you were going to get was Mario Bros. Virtual Boy, that they were briefly working on, but then ultimately scrapped and just turned into Mario Clash, which is ultimately, like, you know, a better use of than just remaking the original arcade game.
Damn it. I sort of had to lock in if I was going to bat at all of that.
Like, if you want like a crazy one, they were going to bring Galaxian 3 to the Virtual Boy, which, if you remember, is like the full motion video.
How did that not? That should have taken his head clean off.
Full on, like, full motion video 3D shooter. And they were going to do like a digitized version of that for the Virtual Boy at a point. Okay, so I'm being linked to VB Mario Land. There are some screenshots. Okay, so they did get as far as this. Yeah, I think
I gotta go for this.
Like, the impression I got that this was literally just a tech demo. That this was just a proof of concept thing that they put out. But it could be completely wrong.
Oh.
I'm reading the description here.
Sorry about your knee.
They do mention an official Nintendo magazine and Big N magazine. 2 European sources, if you trust them. Yeah, I was gonna say that this Virtual Boy Mario Land doesn't even feature on. Oh, it does feature on the list of canceled Virtual Boy games. They have it under 4 different titles, including untitled Super Mario Bros. Games. So I didn't flag it on the list. But like ultimately, that game becomes like, as I'm to understand it, you know, combined with the information that I was vaguely aware of. Oh, we get a graphic at least.
That was actually the batter doing it. He was like, I gotta go around all the bases now.
Not again. I was supposed to throw this game. I was supposed to. My bookie's gonna kill me. Yeah, but my understanding was that whatever Virtual Boy Mario Land would be, if it was anything, is that they eventually just turned it into Virtual Boy Wario Land. Because they wanted to deprioritize Mario on the platform. So, like, whatever ideas they might have had as far as, like, what they could have done with a Virtual Boy Mario platformer is just stuff they rolled into Virtual Boy Wario Land.
Hey, semi-auto. Do something.
The Virtual Boy is a strange and mysterious thing, folks. It is hard to get a grasp on.
Damn it. What are you, a wimp? Oh, you both missed. Cool. I want to just keep knocking people out. I remember playing a Genesis game where if you just continuously beanballed people, eventually someone would rush the mound.
This guy keeps dodging it.
They're expecting it now. They're expecting it. That is 3 times in a row that someone has gone to catch the ball and then got knocked unconscious.
That's 3 times too many. I think we're done with this.
I think we're done with this, yeah. This is better than the other one, but I don't enjoy it still.
Yeah, let's go ahead and close out of that, why don't we? I think we got the idea. I think we got as much out of that as we are going to get. Now, there is one more prototype floating around. This one comes courtesy of Bulletproof Software. This is probably the most impressive game for the Virtual Boy, and the one that I most would have wanted to have come out. It's a game with a lot of legacy behind it. It's a game that there are versions of for basically every other platform, but I feel like this is the one where it really would have thrived on the Virtual Boy. This is Faceball VR, or as it was to be known in Japan, Niko-chan Battle. This is fucking Faceball, also known as Mini Maze, depending on...
Also known as Niko-chan Battle.
Also known as Niko-chan Battle. And this is going to be a first-person shooter, a fully, quote-unquote, fully 3D first-person shooter for the Virtual Boy. I like versions of Faceball well enough. Faceball 2000, obviously the one that most people are going to think of. I go all the way back to Mini Maze, thinking about, like, the art of shooting smileys and so forth and net play. People are asking in chat, link cable support? No. Because that was the thing, because no games on the Virtual Boy, nothing that came out had Virtual Boy link cable support. And so I think at a certain point, all these developers, knowing that they weren't going to have the ability to enable link cable support, that Nintendo wasn't going to support it ultimately, that's probably a reason why this game ultimately goes on to be canceled. Because if you can't get the net play working, what's the point? But we'll be the judge.
I do have to step away for a little bit, so I'll be back.
All right, and I will engage with this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bulletproof Software, by the way, was a company. In case folk don't know, I said that name like it was like with authority. It is the company that was founded by Hank Rogers that made Tetris, what it is by putting it out on the Game Boy. But they were up to a whole bunch of stuff, and so they were not responsible for 3D Tetris on the Virtual Boy, but they were responsible for this. Get stage select. And look at this shit. We got 3D. We have the ability to dim the screen. I think that's actually present in a lot of games. I have the ability to shoot. I'm trying to figure out, can I strafe with these controls? I can use the right D-pad to... I don't think you can strafe in this. The impression that I'm getting, unless I'm really missing on something here with limited controls. And I got it. So this goes to show what the Virtual Boy could do, this very rudimentary 2.5D, that it could do these quote-unquote textured surfaces for the walls and whatnot. That it could pull this off at something like a frame rate. Yeah, I'm seeing a dip as there's like actual action on the screen. Pepperly asks, was Faceball the one that had the recent Discovery re-implementation of the 16-player mode? It was always known that it had a 16-player mode when it came out. That's what it was advertised off of. Little did people know that it wasn't actually possible to accomplish that given the way that it was implemented. Until Uncle Derek, he of Stop Skeletons from Fighting, recently put out a documentary about the process of getting the first actual 16-player Faceball game going, requiring some modding of the game, and then bringing it to a convention. Something that Jeremy Parrish had tried and failed to do in the past, mind you. So yeah, Derek finally cracked the code on that. Check out Stop Skeletons from Fighting, channel I've written for in the past that I'm responsible for some videos. Check out our Zebo episode and our N-Gage episode that I wrote on there. We have some breakable walls here. So they definitely up the variety of stuff to do. This is pretty typical Faceball. Faceball 2000 on the Game Boy, is has a full-fledged, quote-unquote, campaign in it that has a lot of these gimmicks, that has a lot of these sort of... I even noticed I got a power-up at a certain point there. That's also present in Faceball 2000. So you'd almost say this is them bringing Faceball 2000 to the Virtual Boy, rather than, you know, a more... Because Mini Maze, like original Mini Maze, is pretty basic, right? You know, I'm thinking of, like, the Amiga version of it. You know, that was a game that was more about... Did I run out of ammo? No, I guess I just couldn't shoot for a minute for whatever reason. Maybe the enemy type is like vampires, so maybe they temporarily stun your ability to shoot if you get hit by them. Enemy types having, like, you know, specific personality traits or different attack types might be a unique invention for this version of the game. I could continue going down stage 1, but I kind of want to... Oh! Check this shit out. You can bring up a, overlay, a map overlay. I like that. That's good. This is a cool thing they have done. But I was gonna bounce out of this, and I was gonna try either like a later stage, and then I want to try the arena mode for sure. So let me try different shortcuts, different button shortcuts to try and trigger a return to the menu. I don't think I'm gonna find one. I think this is just a case where I'm gonna have to manually restart the system.
Faceball always kind of exists in this place for me where it's like right at the edge of being too archaic for me to really enjoy as a
absolutely
first-person shooter game.
Unequivocally, yeah.
I can appreciate it, but like, there's no strafe, right?
No strafe that I can land on here.
And I think that's kind of the thing, is like, if you don't have strafing, then it doesn't feel right to me. Like, at a certain point, first-person shooters, like old first-person shooters like this, where your movement is entirely based on go forward and turn, kind of feel like Superman 64's multiplayer mode.
Yeah. Whoever lands the first shot.
Yeah. Is there one just following you around? What's that? Or is that...
That's an indicator of where I am, and then an indicator of what direction I'm facing, yeah.
Okay. I thought the triangle was just you.
Okay, so stage 4 not that much harder. At least these early stages aren't that much more difficult than the stuff I was seeing in stage 1. I wanted to see if there was like an immediate leap in difficulty. But let's go to the arena.
Looks like you only have one enemy type at a time, so you can't mix and match.
That's a pretty good variety of, you know, let's do the, let's try Berserker.
I like the drawing storm.
Oh, this is pro as hell, just having these 5 stages and they're all just called. All this filler.
I thought it was going to be like AAAB, AAAC. Just like randomly put shit together.
So this is just one-on-one fights? Or 1v2?
Yeah, 1-2.
I was kind of hoping this would be like the full-fledged arena mode where on the Game Boy Faceball 2000, you can, even if you're just playing by yourself, you can still create like bot matches with like 16 players and designate which type of enemy, the sprite they have, and the arena and all that. They give you some options there. This is lacking in the options.
I'm trying to figure out what all is going on in your HUD right now. Top right is pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's just
Time's obvious.
Yeah.
It looks like top left is showing you like what enemy you're facing right now.
Yes.
I don't know what bottom left and bottom right are.
Bottom left is your health, because
Okay.
if you got injured, that face would be less smiley. Bottom right is whatever power-ups you have.
Oh, hidden walls.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
So it's a Kingsfield.
This doesn't feel like an arena. This feels like I'm just doing stages. I wonder if this is just not implemented.
I think in this case, it's just the fact that you can change like your enemies, change your parameters basically for it. But
No, this is just.
It could also be.
I think this is a straight up taking me into the single player campaign.
Oh,
I think this
okay.
is unimplemented.
All right, I was about to say it could easily also just be not implemented correctly.
Yeah, I bet that this
Play
was originally meant to be like, you know, where you'd access the link cable play until they realized they weren't going to have link cable play. And then they, you know, they still had it dummied in the menu there. Huh. That's tragic. I want you to try a little bit of this.
All right.
With the benefit of 3D.
Put on the glasses. This menu is more 3D than some of the stuff we've seen tonight.
You can press select to bring up the map.
Okay, I need to just not look at my indicator there because that is way twitchier than like what it actually is. Oh. Okay, right D-pad also just does the same thing. That shoot. Oh, that's dim. A does nothing.
I was trying like holding down A and pressing left and right to see if that would enable strafing, like having a strafe modifier key, like the old like Alt key to strafe. From back in the day does not appear to be the case. Yeah, so this is very slight. This is the slightest of the prototypes. But it's also, to me, the most promising because, goddamn, it's a first-person shooter that, you know, Innsmouth is currently our #1 on the ranking list. But, you know, it doesn't move like this does.
Yeah, this moves very good. Like, I'm thinking back to, like Red Alert.
You're gonna have to...
Yeah, pull up an app.
Like, it shows that the Virtual Boy was capable of this, at the very least. Probably at the most. This is probably the most the Virtual Boy was ever going to be capable of in terms of 3D rendering. Can't imagine a full 3D environment. And I might not have to imagine it, either. Hinting at some homebrew stuff we might take a look at. But, yeah, shit, I don't know. I would have finished making this game. I would have, even without the ability to have a link cable supports, I would have put this out with, you know, the bot match arena mode. I would have finalized that and just been like, shit, you know. We worked hard enough to warrant putting this out. We came up with this technique here. You can put yourself in the virtual dimension to the extent
It's called an assassin, but it seems to be a wimp. Seems to just want to run away from me.
Like, I know you're playing this with 3D, but I'm imagining this with the visor on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining this, like, in the space, fully immersed, and thinking, like, this would be sick. It'd be even sicker if you could have the head-to-head play. If you could compete against someone else in their own Virtual Boy setup, and this was the mechanism for, like, fighting them, for dueling in this game, and that would have been sick. It was not meant to be.
This isn't great 3D. Granted, we're doing this red-blue stuff is a much more limited 3D effect than the actual Virtual
and we
Boy
are
would
doing
have.
the same stages over and over and over again, which points to, you know, the menu options being lies to a certain extent, but...
Oh, wait, that's a... Okay. Hey, he's just sitting straight over there. Whoop. It's alright. I think on a proper Virtual Boy and more fleshed out, this would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's it for me, though, because we're doing the same levels over and over again.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to do it for Niko-chan Battle, also known as Virtual, or VB Faceball, or Faceball VB, whatever they want to call it.
Still, on a personal level, still a little too archaic for me. I just want to strafe. Like that, I feel like that opens up so many more options in terms of engaging in combat in first person.
No doubt. So that would do it for the prototypes that we currently have available. As mentioned, Dragon Hopper and the F-Zero game will come to NSO at some point. Those are two that the prototypes have not been floating around online, so those haven't been playable. People will play those for the first time in due time. But there are more Virtual Boy games. There is a community putting out Virtual Boy games, and they congregate on Planet Virtual Boy, where there is something of a active homebrew scene. Not the biggest homebrew scene I've seen, but there is a homebrew scene. This is the same community that, in addition to having the most complete archival of the Virtual Boy, has members who have created Virtual Boy link cables, honest to God Virtual Boy link cables that function and allow head-to-head play in some amount of homebrew games. In fact, some of the first homebrew games for the Virtual Boy were games meant to utilize that link cable support. So a couple, I think the very first game that someone had released for the Virtual Boy in its capacity as like a homebrew machine would have been a version of Pong, a 2-player version of Pong that's called Virtual Pong. You can see that all these games archived on the virtual-boy.com, the Planet Virtual Boy website. The problem with trying to cover stuff on Planet Virtual Boy is that it is the slowest fucking website in the universe. That loading any given page, let alone the portal, for navigating the amount of homebrew games on there, will take you minutes. It's straight up like being on a 56K modem again. How long it fucking takes for very basic text and image pages to load anything with media on it. So I could link to that Virtual Pong page, but good luck fucking loading it. But this, I believe this would have been the first. It would have been a 1999 homebrew, programmed by one Alberto Covarrubias. And I think it was even for a previous website called Virtual E, before Planet Virtual Boy is where all this stuff congregated. And so you can go through sort of the history. You can sort the homebrew tab, the homebrew archives by release dates, if the website lets you, and you can sort of get a complete history of Virtual Boy homebrew games.
I've honestly had good luck with Planet Virtual Boy tonight when I've had to pull up the stuff.
Better than me. Another early one is 3D Battle Snake, which is I think also I've seen them refer to it as Tron. It's the light cycles. It's you create a tail long enough that your opponent will crash into it. So these are some ones that we're mentioning only because, again, navigating this website sucks. It's awful, but they are all available on there if you have the patience for it. And I went through every game in the archive. They have 172 pieces of homebrew software listed on Planet Virtual Boy at this current juncture. A lot of them are just straight up tech demos, one level sort of things, or utilities, rotate this 3D model in place. Not all of them are necessarily full-fledged games and that you would come to expect or hope for. And that's fine. It's just people, experimenting with the code. I've assembled a list of some games and some demos here that we are actually going to play. The first of which I'm going to play here is simply titled BLOX. BLOX, released 2003, developed by one KR155E, who I believe is something of a prolific Virtual Boy homebrew developer. And I think this is the first game that they put out publicly. So let's take a look at this real quick. We're going to fly through a lot of these. We have about a dozen of these, and we'll see how long we spend on each of these. It had a funny note about eating the instruction manual at the top there, by the way. I wonder if this one will have sound. Probably not. Oh, cool. We have controls.
Move Bob.
Glad we got that sorted. I do like these menus. These are cute. Once upon a time, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a beautiful little planet near the end of the universe, home of small creatures, which called themselves the Blobs. Despite their tiny size, the Blobs were a highly intelligent race, which lived in peace with each other ever since. The human race could truly learn a lot of those kind little beings. More than anything else, they loved to compete in a puzzle contest called BLOX. And today is the big day of Bob the Blob, who will go through his first ever BLOX championships, motivated and full of Elon, he is on his way to the playfields to demonstrate his mental skills and to win the BLOX bronze medal. Shoot for gold, man.
Feel like you could have used a more accessible word than Elon. You could have just said vim and vigor or spunk or something. It's Sokoban.
It's Sokoban. You know, everyone's got to start somewhere. You know, why not start with this if you're just doing homebrew? And you just want to demonstrate, like, you know, here's something you could do. I mean, you wouldn't want to. It's Sokoban, but... You know, it's just neat that you can make a game for the Virtual Boy, right? That's what this is meant to prove more than anything. It can even have a story in it, if you so choose. All right, but let's see what this looks like in 3D. Okay, well, let's see.
Oh, I don't have my glasses. Oh, wait. Okay. There we go. Uh-huh. All right, yes. It is coming right for me.
Wait, did I fuck up? I believe I have fucked up.
Yes. Yes, you have fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Okay, there is a retry.
Now you have fucked up.
Yeah, again.
Sokoban!
Nice that they figured this out.
Fucked up.
Yep, I don't like Sokoban.
Me neither.
Well, that'll do it for BLOX. Like I said, we're going to fly through a lot of these. Knowing that, I can actually put a few more on that I didn't initially, that I took off. I was trying to narrow down the list, like, oh, we're going to go so over time if I... if that's the case, let me do
got
it
Doom
like this.
for the Virtual Boy?
You know, I do have something equivalent to Doom for the Virtual Boy. We'll get to that. Let me go ahead and show off Mario Kart Virtual Cup. This is a home-brewed demo of what a Mario Kart for the Virtual Boy could have looked like. You know, a lot of these are going to be proof of concept. A lot of these are just going to be like, you know, games that were announced or speculated to be in development for the Virtual Boy that never did.
The classic Charles Martinet voice.
Ay, ay, ay. Word of warning, the audio in a lot of these is going to be a goddamn nightmare. Because I don't think anyone's really figured out any option you try to select.
This might be an emulation error.
Anyone you click tries to take you to time trial mode, by the way.
All right. Do we want to do this in 3D or?
Yeah, you know, I don't feel like switching 3D on and off for all of these.
Why don't we leave it off for these then, just for the sake of people at home?
Fuck the people at home. Oh, let's do 150cc. I don't think any of these cups, as it were, and there is one track in this.
Oh.
Yeah, you can, proof of concept.
Can't wait for this to show up as DLC in Mario Kart World. I know this isn't how the sound is supposed to be. I know that it's most likely, more than anything, probably like the emulator doesn't know how to handle this in particular.
No, I think this is actually it. In this rare case, I think it is, because I think I remember reading something on the description page for this on Planet Virtual Boy that, like, there is audio, but it's not good. Five laps.
One of the people in this orchestra doing this song is looking at his like sheet music, and the whole page is just one giant whole note.
It's a black page. It's just all the black ink. So, you know, this is...
Oh, no, that the instrument is actually changing notes now. It's going... Da, da.
I think that's probably an emulation error, the way that voice works, maybe. I'm hoping, I'm assuming. So, you know, you could theoretically do a game like that.
You know, Mario couldn't stop smoking like 5 packs a day. He had to get that voice box. They're never the same.
Same. Hey, we were talking about Mario Land VB earlier. Came out as a homebrew game. Oh, I forgot to mention who developed Mario Kart Virtual Cup. That would have been one Dog P. That would have been a 2008 demo. I don't think it's been worked on since. And now we're going to play Mario Virtual Boy, developed by Jorgesh, Jorgeche, also 2008. So yeah, we finally got it. I think this is based off of those mock-up screenshots I saw. I think this is an attempt to like approximate a what could have been
Coding competition, so I guess it's like a game jam kind of thing.
There are a few different engines for the Virtual Boy I've seen. People who have created like templates, just like foundations for code. There's also a Game Boy emulator for the Virtual Boy. I can sprint. Can't do anything with that block. Yep, I can take that with me. I can lose that. We had the foreground, background switching.
Mm-hmm. Like Mutant Muds. Oh, that doesn't read very good when they're floating in air like that.
No. I think this would be like a middle plane.
Yeah, like I thought that pipe was just sort of like mid-groove. Okay.
Homebrew, folks.
Moving screen. Go find him. Where's Mario? Mario's missing.
I broke it. It crashed.
No.
It did not accept me to go to the right. That's fine. It's only the one level. I can tell you that's the extent of this demo here. Cute, but again, inessential.
But you know, it was a coding contest thing. Whatever.
Next,
not really gonna harshly judge any of these. I think.
No, of course not. No, this is it's cool that these exist. It shows the passion of the community, and it shows, like, you know, in some cases what could have been. Speaking of what could have been, next up is Yeti 3D. This was developed by one Dan B. Released in 2009. I think there's a couple different versions of this. But you've been asking about Doom on the Virtual Boy.
Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. Oh, really?
Yeah, why not, right? We have a jump. We see the limits of what this could have been. We can look up and down, but only at, like, you know, like certain angles, and it resets the center. Mm-hmm. But it does demonstrate that you could do that sort of scaling. I mean, we're seeing a lot of issues as far as like being too close to walls and what that does to the 3D rendering. So like clearly, like, there are like limitations. Clearly this would not have been good enough for like a commercial release.
Music would have been, though. Can't believe they got the license of Metallica.
Like seeing through floors and whatnot here. Again, we're not judging harshly. I'm just pointing out that, like, you know, these problems that could have been solved for in time, potentially, but that this developer was not able to solve for, which perhaps speaks to inherent limitations of the system.
Do you think Dave Mustaine's out there like, I programmed this game, actually?
Yeah, to get one over on the old band. My ultimate revenge. You know, no enemies to fight. It's not the point of this, is not to demonstrate the combat. It's just to demonstrate the 3D technique, and then having the Doom guy gun there is, you know, just like a cutesy nod towards the idea of putting Doom on everything. You know, this is probably one of the most impressive pieces of Homebrew, just for the fact that it does 3D. It does a rudimentary 3D that runs as well as it was ever going to run. I think Faceball shows, or Niko-chan Battle, went to show like what the really, like, you know, what would be acceptable for a commercial product, I think. that style of 2.5D, I think, was as far as anyone was ever going to get with this. That any developer would bother investing the time in. But still neat that this exists. And I don't want to hear it anymore or look at it anymore. It would be so fun. Wait, hold on.
So fun.
Let me see what this is like in 3D. I just realized we could do this. Okay, there are actual 3D effects going on here too.
Yeah, absolutely. I have glasses on right now, so if this was, optimized in such a way that it wasn't, non-Euclidean, this would actually be real cool. Yeah. I don't even mean that like in a mean way. I mean it literally is.
This room in particular, I like this room. I like this room because it has the textured surfaces here, like the dither surface, and it has the solids here.
3D works well here.
Yeah, no, this would be, could have been something. It is not right now, though, and that is fine.
I think, Nintendo would never do this for a million reasons, because they're not a cool company. But imagine if they just put a bunch of homebrew on one of their updates. Like, hey, check out what, the community made. And I think the coolest thing about that, it would be cool to, highlight people who are fans of Nintendo and do work based on the stuff, sure. I think the best thing about it would be seeing just random people's reactions to, like, why'd you put this on your Nintendo console? Jeez, just see people who have no appreciation try to
parse
understand what this stuff is, yeah.
Fail to understand it in abstract, yeah. I would love to see this next game on the Virtual Boy on the NSO service. Next up is Insecticide. It's a fighting game for the Virtual Boy, developed by Virtual Chris, released in 2009. This might be one of my favorites that we're going to get to show off here. Screw the instruction, precaution booklets, come on and play the game. Okay, don't gotta tell me twice.
Oh, horsey game. Hell yeah.
You want to read this one?
The year's 2047. Mankind has ended because they blew themselves up, leaving only bugs behind. Now life on Earth depends on the survival of the fittest. Do you have what it takes to survive?
I guess we'll find out. Action 52 core soundtrack on this. We have Giant, Slaying Mantis. Every character has a bespoke theme song, by the way.
That magnifying glass has no lens on it. Watch what happens when they leave.
Yeah.
It's the same size.
Panzer Dragonfly. I'm going to lower the volume a little bit on this one.
I like the Panzer Dragoon reference.
Killipede.
Look at that angry little face on him.
Superfly.
Can't leave without him.
Melee Diebug. Ladybug. Lady.
The lady?
You get it. Rumblebee.
Of course that's his name.
Behemoth. And back to Giant. Who's jumping out at you here?
Oh. I don't know. I'm thinking...
I like Killipede.
Killipede.
He looks like a killer. Who do we want to fight?
Select your phone. Who would Killipede have a good...
beef with? A good rivalry?
Yeah. I mean, against... that'd be like fighting his parents if he went against the Moth.
Let's go against Rumblebee. I have an attack button. And that's basically it. You can jump. The enemy will move left and right and attack you as they get near you. If you lock into a timing here, you can like dog them to such an extent you can just be like constantly attacking them. If you get in like the right range and keep the timing, then you can just drain their health. Not particularly complex, and every fight basically amounts to the same thing. I think the computer does have a few moves. Yeah. I think some of the enemies have moves where they can like suplex you. I think one of them has that move at least. I've seen it happen.
If they were gonna have any bug that suplexes you, then they should have had like a stag beetle or something.
Come on. I won. Yippee!
So do the bugs live in those houses now that there are no humans?
I mean, yeah, it's free rent. Free real estate. Let's see what this looks like in 3D.
More 3D than I thought it would be.
Slaying mantis versus giant.
I mean, not much. I think the menu had more 3D than this.
See, he picked me up and threw me. It's not very effective. That's gonna do it for Insecticide. That's basically all there is to it. It's, again, proof of concept. Just homebrew. We're not gonna punch down on this, except to say, you know, they called it Chris's Crappy Creations at the top. That was their developer title card, and, you know, if they're gonna call it that, then, you know, that's fine. I don't think they were intending to, you know, to do too much with that other than to be like, isn't this goofy? We'll skip past this one. Skip past this one. You know, we'll do this one. We'll do Soviet Union 2010. This is developed by Horvat M, released in 2010. This is a vertical shmup for the virtual.
You want to turn 3D off? I saw the R's backwards there.
I just want to leave the 3D on. I don't care enough to keep toggling it on and off.
I would say if you don't want to keep toggling it, just leave it off.
But I want it on.
I would say for the benefit of people who want to watch this, I'm going to put my foot down on this one to leave it off.
Let's press A for story mode. The story so far, a group of scientists from Vladivostok. Ah, fuck, I'm
sure it's not pronounced that way, if only by those characters not being those things.
Vostovic. God damn it. However you pronounce, has invented a time machine. They use it to go back to the 1960s when the space race between the USSR and the USA took place. It worked, but when they tried to go back to the year 2010, a malfunction in the machine sent them to a parallel universe where the Cold War is still happening. You are one of the soldiers in the mighty Soviet army. Defend your country or die.
The 1960s, or if you are the narrator of the new Fist of the North Star series, the 196 zeros.
God, I still can't get over that. Oh, I'm out of ammo. You have to pick up your ammo.
Oh, that's not good for a shmup.
I guess it's to keep you from just constantly shooting and possibly slowing
kind
down
of
the
purpose
game.
of a shmup. Whatever, homebrew.
You know, it's basic. I don't have a follow-up to that. It's just, you know,
yeah,
it's basic.
What was this one called again?
Soviet Union 2010. I think there's a squeakquel to this, too. That's a ginormous hitbox. I want to see, like, the reason why I'm, like, angling for 3D, because I want to see which of these games have 3D and what the extent of it is. Right? So... yeah, so it uses some amount of, like, projection here to make it appear as if, you know, these things are closer to you. All, like, the screen elements, all the, like, objects and enemies and so forth are closer to the camera than all the background elements.
I'll say that does not really come across. It would work better if there was something in the lower level besides the stars. If there's, like, a mid-level, it would work better.
That's as much as I need to see of that one, I think. Let's move on. This is one of the ones I think I'm more impressed by. This is 2012. This is Fishbone, developed by Thunderstruck. And this one almost feels like a real game. This, which is to say, you know, they put more work into it. It has, like, it's fleshed out. It has some unique graphics in it. I think it has a grand total of 4 levels, but... I was fairly impressed by this one.
What's the story? Fishbone. Oh, my book got all wet. Now I can't read it.
We have a stage select. Super Fish World using some assets that are maybe not theirs.
I like that fish.
So it's a shark-like or a fishy-like, where there are certain fish you can eat.
An auto-scroller.
Yep.
Shark-like.
There are fish you can eat and fish you can't. It's all a matter of scale. And I wonder if at a certain point you grow bigger.
Maybe. I'm guessing you don't. If anything, I would doubt you grow bigger, but maybe you turn into a different fish and the bigger fish are just smaller. And then you have new bigger fish. But I'm actually guessing, based on how this looks, probably not. It's probably just this.
Yeah, probably.
What was... Feeding Frenzy was like PopCap's version of a Shark, right?
I believe so. I played a lot of a Flash game called Fishy. That's always the one I think of, I go to, because it lets you like infinitely scale until you're bigger than the entire screen. And it says, congratulations, you destroyed the ecosystem at that point.
I think there was a Game Boy game, too, called Fish Dude that trapped in the same ideas.
Possibly. Let's see some different fish. Let's see what this stage looks like, and let's see it in 3D.
Kanjan asks, chat, is the bus an auto-scroller? No, some of them have manual transmission.
Yeah, you know, it's more of the same. Oh, check this out.
Oh, ooh. You ever eat like that? Just open your mouth and like move towards food.
Whatever
just
falls in my mouth.
Whatever gets in, what's in. Yeah.
Ah, well.
Oh.
Let me see those copyright infringing characters real quick.
Game over. Oh, and music.
Ah, well.
I mean, 3D here is putting in more work than the other game was.
Yeah, I would say so. All right, that one, I think there's like, I think there's something to that, right? I think if you had like the, you know, if it used the scaling, and if you got bigger as you ate more stuff, that'd be something I would be interested in playing. A version of that. I mean, does that necessarily need to be on the Virtual Boy? No, but it's, you know, it's homebrew. It's not meant to be anything that.
You just like any game where you progressively get bigger by doing an action.
Yeah, I'm Katamari pilled at the end of the day. Let's go to 2014. Thunderstruck, another game by Thunderstruck. This is Mario Combat. This is another Doom-like.
Oh, I was going to hope it was going to be like a Kart fighter situation.
You'll see what I mean in just a little bit. Doom Shotgun.
See, now Nintendo should put this on the service.
Why not, right?
Yeah. Show them how much they care about the fans. You know, the ones they aren't putting into wage debt for the rest of their lives.
So you can keep shooting the head. You have to stop these things before they hit you. There are some attack patterns that come up later that are a little trickier. I did beat this. There's not a particularly exciting ending to it. And it does get to be a bit of bullshit by the end. When it keeps repeating the most challenging, tedious pattern.
Getting faster.
Well, I'm going to see if I can do this in one credit. In one attempt. Oh, I tried shooting that one like 3 times and it did not work.
This would have been good if they had a light gun attachment for the Virtual Boy.
How would that work? Think about that. Just... Think about your joke. Be ashamed of your joke.
No, I'm thinking about it. No. Like, maybe it's a reverse light gun, right? The sensor's on the back, and there's a little diode for the light on the front end of the Virtual Boy. So you hold it out in front of it, and you still aim the gun.
Okay, this is good for gauging how far away things are.
Not... Maybe not so much, because there's not a lot of scaling going on the projectiles. Even with the 3D, they don't seem to be like changing all that much.
Okay,
their
keep an eye on the
position. Like, they
Goomba.
are changing a little,
Yep.
but not enough that it's super noticeable.
Yeah, because they're not really, like, a lot of the things aren't scaling, necessarily.
Yeah.
I see the Koopa,
Like,
the
you can see them converge, but the fact that they're not scaling doesn't sell the illusion, because both of those things combined just... not combining both of those things together makes it harder to tell.
Okay, the rest of the game is like this now, where Bowser goes away pretty immediately, and you have to more deal with these fucking things popping up and tossing projectiles at you. Then you're lucky to get, like, a shot off.
Also, spoilers for the Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
This is how it ends. Mario just pulls out a gun.
Alright, can I get 2 shots off? Nope.
And I watched some of that Super Mario Galaxy's movie. Granted, it was with heavy visual filters on it, and the entire thing was vocoded to Gangster Paradise, but I did see some of it.
Spicy meatball.
Man, that looks dreadful.
Big shock.
That looks like the most bottom of the barrel, like, reference kind of a movie.
That's all movies now, though. That's what sells. People have demanded slop, and for their sins, they are being paid in slop. Alright, one more hit. And we'll be celebrated the world over for our victory.
It is heroes and liberators.
Mm-hmm.
I come.
Furiously masturbating, furiously masturbating. And that's it.
And we're done.
You're welcome. You know what?
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Haven't had a chance to do that during this series much.
Yeah, no, we certainly haven't. There we go. Next up, having played that now, let's play probably the most impressive thing. Let's probably play the most impressive thing that I saw for the Virtual Boy Homebrew community. And this is one that they've gone on to sell commercially.
Good work.
Not sure the legalese. I mean, it's very small quantities. What I'm referring to is hyper fighting, which is a conversion of sorts of Street Fighter 2 to the Virtual Boy. That it's very hard to get hands on the full version of it, because again, it was a game they sold around at conventions and stuff. That you can potentially pick up a physical copy of this, and it supports the link cable, I believe.
A Dojin game.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But this is definitely an impressive piece of work. Created by Anonymous, powered by MK's fighting engine.
Also, it plays like Mortal Kombat. Okay.
It'll hang on the screen until I press the start button to trigger that animation. Alright, so it doesn't have survival or training in this, but we can access some options. Go all the way up to turbo. I'll just play it on slightly fast and up the brightness a little bit. That should do. Again, Versus would be your link cable play, so homebrew community doing crazy things here. Let me level the volume to this. This is definitely a little lower in the mix. We have...
either unlockables or not accessibles.
I'll play as Chun-Li because she's my girl.
I think there's some emulation stuff going on with the voices.
All right, uses the D-pad for some of the additional inputs. Does not use A and B.
And if this is fast, I'm kind of curious. I'm scared how turbo must be. Considering there's another speed in between that.
Yep, this is a playable version of Street Fighter 2.
What's
There
your
we go.
buttons? What's your buttons like?
It's right D-pad right for medium kick. And presumably down D-pad for weak kick, and then R button for strong kick. And then you can imagine what the punches map to based on that. So they're trying to do like the 6-button style. No, it has a lot of the animations in. You know, who's to say how faithful this is to Street Fighter 2? Like, in terms of, like, you know, how many frames of animation? Do they have the same, you know, same sort of logic as, you know, who cares? Would be what I would say. This is obviously not a game meant to be, like, you know, taken super seriously competitively. It is meant to be a proof of concept, and, you know, it is sold. This was sold for money, so I think they just put a lot of work into this and into just, you know, doing a version, a take on Street Fighter 2 that is impressive for what it is. That plays well enough that, you know, whether it's accurate or not. Unique backgrounds as well. They came up with unique stage backgrounds for a lot of this. Let's see what it looks like in 3D. I don't see this one using the 3D a lot, besides maybe some...
No, not really. What's there is kind of subtle.
Okay, so Chun-Li does have her fireball in this. I'm the one on the right, by the way. I'm trying to do a spinning bird kick, but it's difficult the way I have these controls set up, trying to do the D-pad stuff. So I guess I should just really rely on the,
Just get out your controller that has 2 sets of D-pads on it.
This would probably be pretty sick with the link cable stuff set up. To do a fighting game where you're both, like, in visor mode, where you're both completely, like, blocking out the rest of the world except for the fight in front of you. There might be something to that.
Imagine this at, like, a... I guess let's say Evo. But let's imagine this like an Evo or something like that. With, you have the camera focused on the 2 guys with their heads, like, directly into the screen. And there's no output. So just take our word for it. They're fighting. And of course, the announcers wouldn't have any idea what's going on either. And it's like, oh, well, Daigo just kind of flinched a little bit. I think that might be good. Or maybe
Who's
that's
to
bad.
say? I do kind of want to...
Do we have, like, another fighting game tournament, in a general fighting game tournament that we can reference in the future now besides Evo? Because I'm ready to say Evo is dead to me.
I guess we'll find out. I'm sure we have some fighting game sickos in our community who are kept abreast of that sort of stuff. Oh, you know, you can do button config if you so chose. You could menu through that. I was hoping for a take me to the main menu thing. Check this out. Whoa. Now it's maximum depth. Now you can really get the... I just want to see what this looks like on turbo speed.
Fast, very fast turbo. Super turbo, ultra turbo.
I'll do...
Actually, do me a favor. Oh,
yeah?
Okay. Well, actually, that's good. I want to control, though.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't do anything. Okay. Well, this is hard to control the way that, you know, you have it set up, but...
Yep, and also this speed. You know, it can run this fast, though. Testament to it.
I'm getting the feeling that it's going to be the same order of opponents every time.
Yeah, it's going to be Chun-Li next, etc., etc. You know, I think all the sampled speech is playing back at the wrong pitch as well, because of that being a common bugbear of the emulation. But, you know, this is neat. This is impressive. It goes to show that, you know, if Capcom were to have put out a Street Fighter II conversion for the Virtual Boy, it probably would have looked and played much the same as this. I think as far as like proof of concepts go, this is probably the most accurate to something that could have theoretically been released.
Yeah, that's cool. Like the only problem is with the controls, but you can get around that with like a proper controller, and like as far as emulation goes, you can get on the right controller and just binding the shit right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yes. So we'll
It's also too fast, but that's our fault.
That's literally us fucking around with it, yeah. So we'll unfortunately, I know you probably keep playing that. I could maybe even play a little bit of that too on my own time. I'd love to play that competitively. And by competitively, I just mean 1-to-1 or whatever, 1-on-1 against you. But we must move along. We mentioned KR155E, right? Before, I think he did one of the games we covered earlier.
BLOX?
Maybe.
Was it? Or
he goes on to put out he develops the VU engine, which is a platformer engine that people can use in developing their own homebrew games. He puts out the VU engine platformer, a 1-level demo that shows like the abilities of the engine, but then later puts out a game, like a proper full-fledged game in 2018 called Captain Sevilla 3D, or Capitan Sevilla 3D. And this is, again, like much closer to a proper game, and we're going to show this and probably be impressed by it, if I had to hazard a guess. I'll just keep it on English, if you don't mind. I don't think anyone's really committed to making like great sound on the Virtual Boy. 20 years after Professor Toro Bruno's defeat. I will check the news. They may still need my help anyway. Why lie to myself? Evil is no longer what it used to be. Attention! I have a message for Capitan Sevilla. It cannot be. The professor is still alive. Damnation! What I have in my hand is the magic book of words. The country right now is under my control, since modifying the book has influence over people. It could create extremely intelligent citizens or, on the contrary, stupid ones. I have opted for the second option, idiotizing the vast majority of the Spanish population. Nevertheless, in a few hours, the same will happen to the people all over the world. I want 1 million euros, or I assume the consequences. I will wait for you where we met 20 years ago. The country needs me. Here I go. And check this out.
Amiga game.
What was that?
Amiga game.
Yeah, of a sort. More like a ZX Spectrum game with the heavy outlines and whatnot.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh. Man, that flower pot fucked you up. I can see your skeleton.
Oh, I'm out of projectiles at this point. I guess I had a limited number of those. The animation, though, really good. Michael Jackson up there. Looking good.
Barbara Helmina.
Oh, there's a maybe reload. Is a reload a button I can press? Oh yeah, I pressed select and I was gonna eat something. It looked like.
Oh, there's a corner store right there.
I'm Headful points out the joke is Michael Jackson's Children's Park. Yeah,
yes, I did notice it. I just didn't say it out loud.
Okay, let's see this. Yep, select, reloads, gives me more projectiles. Got it. So that is how you can continue to deal with. Can I tactically reload? Yes, I can. But you see, I can reload.
What are you reloading?
I guess whatever I'm
Just
spitting
eating
out.
Something. Is that your guy's superpowers? Just spit? Like spitting watermelon seeds as fast as possible?
It might be. Ouch.
Alright, get some quarter water here.
Let's see the 3D.
Potato chips. I mean, it's definitely doing stuff. You know, 3D doesn't really help 2D games like this all that much. Well, that'll teach them. Yeah, get in line. Just wait. They're waiting for something. How many people do you think... Alright, let's say you go to a convention. How many people do you think you would need to start forming a fake line to nothing for other people to start getting in line behind you? Like, this must be something. And just start waiting there.
That's a good question.
I think like, at minimum 3 people. If you got 3 people to just stand in a line by nothing, you get other people to line up behind them.
I wonder if there's any way to keep this going. I wonder if this is just the end of the...
This is probably the end.
I know there's like 4 levels to this. There's multiple versions of this, and this is supposed to be the more complete version. So am I doing something wrong? Did I forget to do something? Wrong, probably. Like maybe
with most of these homebrew things, I've just expected them all to be like 1 level.
Yeah. I think this might even be like the unofficial sequel to like a game that did exist on these, ZX Spectrum and CPC and so forth. Hence, like the joke in the intro about the 20 years since. So
okay, the 3D thing is starting to hurt my eyes.
Yeah, I can't go inside any of these buildings, so I'm just gonna have to take the loss on this one. I'm just gonna have to say that I'm not able to figure out how to proceed in this, and that's unfortunate because this does, this is impressive for what it is. If it was like a full game, that could be something. Again, does this need to be on the Virtual Boy? No, but it's not about whether it should be on the Virtual Boy or not. It's just the homebrew community flexing their muscles, showing what could have been, and so forth. And that one seemed like it had some work put into it, so I wanted to show it off a bit. This next one, I think you will take an interest in. Okay. This is Red Square, put out in 2019, developed by one Kresna. This is a Yume Nikki fan game.
Oh.
And this one, like, it has like its own website and stuff. It seems like a lot of effort was put into this. Oh, it even has a warning at the top of the thing. Contains graphic imagery, troubling events, and mature content which some players may find disturbing or offensive. Don't forget to take breaks because your eyes depend on it. I'm leaving this one to you.
All right. Cool logo. All right, wake up, action, interact, different buttons, okay? All right. No sound?
I think there's like little bits of... No, maybe not. Nina is a girl who has one wish. There is only one thing important to her in this entire world. Red Square. With her plea sent out to the other side, Nina can only wait and dream about her sole desire in life.
Whoop. Okay.
Well,
Pizza
cute.
boy. Pizza time.
This would probably go harder with some amount of music or sound in it, but...
Something, yeah.
I think this was developed in 6 weeks for the 2019, for a 2019 game jam. Looks like the Dream Diary jam, so not one of the Virtual Boy specific game jams, but rather a Yume Nikki jam.
Pizza. 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 Am I just like doing that thing where you like put your hands together and sort of like twiddle your fingers like Mr. Burns, like excellent, except just going pizza?
Might be.
Pizza. I
think
guess
there
I
is,
just
like,
have the ability to pizza wherever I want now.
I did check. I was on a Sprite website getting sprites for stuff, and I think this game has had its sprites ripped. And I think there is, like, some stuff to do, some people to meet in this game at a certain point, but I figured I'd leave it to you to potentially figure that out for as long as we can.
Well, if it's a Yume Nikki style game, we might not get to much at all. Because it's just going to be a lot of wandering around and, like, kind of observing. This could have, game jam thing. This could have definitely used some music. I think that would have helped a lot to vibe out to.
Can we see it in 3D?
Pizza. You want to see 3D pizza?
More than anything.
Pizza.
Because a 3D pizza is like a tangible pizza. Pizza I can reach out and grab and eat.
Really not much of anything going on in 3D.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
Pizza.
I think there is form changing in this. Joda Real asks, is this for changing forms maybe? And I believe some of the sprites I saw did appear to be different forms. That presumably your character... I don't know from Yume Nikki. I don't know from any of this stuff.
I don't know if I actually picked up that thing or not. Let me wake up. Okay. Can't sit. Pizza. Can't jump. Can't go in there.
You can't sing, you can't dance, what can you do? That's a Simon Cowell quote that I think about a lot.
Okay. I know how I got there the first time. Ugh. Virtual lab. I have a feeling I'm walking against an invisible wall down there.
We have no way of knowing. There's no earthly way of knowing.
Alright, wake up from this one. Just go through the other areas real quick. Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I'm not sure how much better this would be with 3D off. It would be very red.
Red square.
Yeah, these squares would be... Oh, these aren't squares, though. Rectangles. Ah! Store.
So, this is clearly more ambitious in some ways than...
Someone help me. I'm looking to get pizza.
I think
see what this item does.
Developers behind this, they made the official website for it. I think there's some documentation of it. I know they made the source code open so that people could theoretically do more with this.
Oh, she has one dream in life. The dream is pizza. Oh, I thought I picked up pizza as like an ability back in the pizza zone, but maybe that's always like her default action is pizza. Yeah, this is a new Yume Nikki style game, all right.
And there might be more to it.
I like that, but it's
it
would be hard to do this as far as a variety show, right?
Yeah. I think it's as much as we can really show off of it is just this. And, if you're interested in this, if you're a Yume Nikki fan, maybe consider looking into that, or at the very least, like a playthrough of it. I think we're going to call that one there, though, on that pizza note. Got a couple more.
I'll be right back as you load the next one.
Yeah, I'll take the next one on. What do I go with? I think I'll skip 3D crosswords. Yeah, I know how I'm going to close this. We got 3 more. We're going to do 3 more here. I will play 2021's Elevated Speed. This was developed by Pizza Rolls-Royce, which is a great name. The plot to this one, the description reads, the year is 2017. Again, this came out in 2021, so While EM vehicles have been available to the wealthy for a decade, a misplaced shipment of military-grade EMV components has fallen into the hands of the speed gangs of San Angeles. A new era of racing has dawned. Fake 1987 copyright. They're going for something very specific here. It's just a preview copy. Presumably has link cable multiplayer. Typical video options. You know, let's check the about. Boot code provided by the VU engine. I think a lot of people are utilizing the VU engine at this point for their own homebrew. Modifying this option is important in this version. Okay, so I do have a version of this that does not have the full functionality, or maybe this is the full functionality as currently exists. It's hard to say. This might just be one of the demos. Like, that Hyper Fighting had a demo put out where it only has like 2 or 3 characters in it. That is meant to entice you to buy the full version of it. But it's one of these. I wanted to show this one off because it is...
Oh, that looks sick.
Yep. An F-Zero-like. L and R do like a little bit of strafing here. It is A to accelerate. Yeah, and it goes to show that, you know, better than that Mario Kart homebrew that we played, that very basic one. This one actually has opponents on the tracks. There are, you know, potential for power-ups and takedowns in the full version of this, if that is still under active development. Again, you can find this stuff on Planet Virtual Boy, where it'll, if it's a project that's in development still, it'll link to the creators page. They're pretty good about that sort of stuff. It's almost like they care about maintaining that community and in honoring the people keeping it going. Yeah, you know, this is fairly basic again, but you could see this being fleshed out into a full thing, even in its homebrew capacity. Into something that could have hung with other games on the Virtual Boy contemporaneously if it had come out, you know, like in the 90s.
It runs also very well.
Yeah.
Very smooth. Which I think, you know, benefit of time and a kind of a devoted homebrew scene can get like a lot of good performance out of things that, you know, probably they didn't dream of stuff looking like this back when this was being made originally. Back when the Virtual Boy was being made originally.
Yeah. Yeah, it also functions in 3D to some extent.
Functional.
It's really hard to stay on the boost pads, but that's a skill issue. I want to see.
So those are just boost pads and not like healing like in F-Zero.
You know, they did mention the takedowns and power-ups, so I wonder if the full game has maybe health meter attacks you can do. I took the wrong lane. I should have gone to the right and taken that speed boost. I think I'm gonna get second, which is fine. That's better than last. And I think this might just be the one stage in this. Again, who knows if they're just like, you know, if those are things that are currently exist or just like, you know, them daydreaming about it. I came really close to first place there. Not bad.
Yeah.
Neat.
When it's not in 3D like this, it's actually good looking.
Be sure to check elevatedspeed.com for updates. No link play has been detected. Please reconnect the cable. And yeah, they'd have a means of detecting that stuff at the top. But we will close out of that one for now. If that's if you're someone who's interested in Virtual Boy Homebrew, that seems like one to keep an eye on potentially. This next one, I have a non-game here. This one is just for funsies before we get to the last game. I'm not even going to say what this is. I'm just going to say the developer on this was Guy Perfect.
Now, we don't need to do this one in 3D. So I've already seen this in 3D, and it's not.
We're finally doing Toho on the Bad Game Hall of Fame. It's finally... So, you know, this just goes to show that, you know, people figured out a way to bring video on, to play video back on the Virtual Boy. You know, granted, you know, it's a very simple case because, you know, this is like a 2-color video. It's just black and white.
We gotta at least see my favorite part of this, which is coming up soon. But yeah, it's like the two things that must be made on everything is Bad Apple and Doom.
We got both.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
I'll let the chorus play. I mean, when else we're going to show Bad Apple on the stream? Unless someone did a Bad Apple homebrew for ZX Spectrum and we do the microcomputer series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to already say yes, someone has done one. I'll now Google it to double check that, but I'm absolutely sure.
And just to double check, just to be sure. Nothing, nada. Again, this tech demo is just about showing the video playback, the potential for video playback on the Virtual Boy. Not about necessarily making it in 3D.
There are several versions of Bad Apple on ZX Spectrum.
Jodareal says this is the one Virtual Boy software that does improve your eyes. Gunpei Yokoi's vision finally realized.
I mean, this is my second favorite part. And then when they come up like this, yeah.
Good stuff. Udong.
What if instead of our original plans for going through all the microcomputers, we just get Bad Apple on every microcomputer and then do a ranking list of which did it best?
Yeah, that's a series right there.
That's a one-off, I think.
We'll park that one for when you get back.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bad Apple's cool. Toho's cool. This is cool. You know, you can't really do anything with that. We got as much out of that as we're gonna get.
I mean, I think there was theoretically about 30 to 40 seconds more we could.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So the last game we're gonna show off here, the last piece of homebrew software I see fit to show off. This is called Formula V. This is being developed by, would you look at that, KR155E, who is basically holding this fucking homebrew community up on his shoulders. It's another VU engine game. This is a 2022 release, at least this version of it that I have. There was a racing game we played for the PC Engine on like a chance time that was top down. This is one of those.
I like that guy.
Alright, we have different classes. Difficulty as a percentage. I like a 30% difficulty. Opponents all same, all.
Every time tonight you've been saying this developer's name, I just keep thinking of SR71 in my head.
You couldn't make a game like Formula 5 today.
Did they do that song?
Yeah, SR71. They did. They did a song about fucking cancel culture in the 2000s, as well as the other one. There's time of day. I'm gonna have it change time of day every 30 seconds. All right, we have a number of vehicles to choose between. We have the Hyumsu or Hyungsu. It's hard. It's a bad font. The Fenton.
Hyunso?
By number of vehicles, I mean two.
I mean, that is a number of vehicles. One would also be a number of vehicles. Just like we have a number of locations.
Well, it's one location, but we can do different variations on the track. I'll go with this.
Oh, fuck. Okay. There is something... I think we missed this, by the way. This is a late-breaking update to the Cursed Kart Racer series. I don't think we ever pegged this, but I was watching Veilfisk on YouTube play the Crazy Frog Racer games. And he was doing them, like, back-to-back immediately. And Crazy Frog Racer 2's stages are the exact same as 1 in terms of layout.
No,
like,
that's the European and North American releases where there's a numbering misnomer where Crazy Frog.
No. They're as in the 2 different games. I don't mean. Okay, 1 and 2 in terms of Europe, right? Because they're the 2 different games. But the track layouts are literally the same in both games. There's like more details and stuff. It's not just that one city in the second game. But they are the exact same tracks. I don't think we noticed that when we did it.
Possible. I have boost, but I'm so far behind at this point. Because one of those games where your controls are left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Right to pivot.
Now, the way this is different than the PC Engine one is in that one, everyone had to be on the screen at the same time.
Yes.
So it was just constantly bumping cars back and forth so they'd stay on screen.
Highest class of international racing. Turn down difficulty. See the different times. Let's start at night. Have it quickly change. I'll try the other vehicle. Regular direction. Let's do it with the shorter track, and let's see if I can just keep up. I'm holding accelerate out the gate to try and keep up. We have a boost if I do L and R. Oof. Yeah, I might just not be good enough. I might not be good enough to take these turns and keep up with the Joneses here.
Adrenaline rush.
You know, it moves. Let's just, you know, for the sake of, even if I can't, you know, hang. Basically nothing with the 3D except for the HUD element is...
Yeah, like the clouds. That's definitely... that and, like, yeah, the HUD elements there are a bit further up, but that's it.
And I took too much damage. Which is something you can do in this. Alright, some credits for you. Localizations. It's on Patreon under the VU Engine Patreon. Good for them. Former patrons even listed here. Cool. I mean, it's cool that exists. I wasn't any good at it, but, you know, I'm sure someone is. And it shows that, you know, that's a very professional looking presentation for this. Outside the music being pretty basic, but, you know, that comes later. If they continue developing on this, adding more tracks and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to show off some Virtual Boy homebrew, show you what the community is up to. It is still active. And there's some neat stuff. They're pushing the Virtual Boy to its limits in some capacities. Others are just toying around, enjoying developing for this little system that that bombed out of the market. Before we get to the rankings, before we rank the 4 or 5 games we're going to rank tonight, I just want to ask you here at the end of this retrospective, having played all the games we're going to play for it, do you imagine a world in which the Virtual Boy could have succeeded? let's imagine in this scenario that it had slightly better specs, even that had the benefit of better hardware, and Nintendo committed to supporting it for a little bit longer.
I don't think as it existed, I don't think it was going to make it. I think it was too niche. I think it was going to be too hard to kind of at this juncture like show off what it was and what actually kind of made it special. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this would have really hung with Game Boy or anything like that to a degree where I think Nintendo would have found it worthwhile to keep going off with.
Yeah, I think I do generally agree. Like, even in a perfect world where they had like slightly better hardware, if it could like process slightly faster, I think the thing that it would have needed was fucking multicolor, right? They would have needed to have knocked out the cheapest LEDs, which is the reason why it only shows in red and black. It was purely a cost measure, and a simplicity of programming as well, I imagine.
I think the existence of the Game Boy kind of undermines the potential success of the Virtual Boy, especially in the mid-90s.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo already had a SKU for taking games with you on the go, which is what the Virtual Boy was meant to be initially before it got grounded during development. It's like a weird middle ground between their console offerings, which were, the SNES at this point, and 64 towards the end of the lifespan of the Virtual Boy. It was definitely on the docket. It was definitely in active development. They knew what the future looked like. So even if this was like a souped up device, if it came out within that window, it was still only going to have so much fucking shelf life going for it. I think is the scenario I'm trying to set up here, is that it was just a wrong-headed idea to try and chase VR at this moment, at that particular moment in time. It was for the benefit of no one. Because you had 3D consoles on the horizon, and this thing, no matter how powerful you could have packed stuff into the visor, was never going to be as powerful as a full 3D console. So it was already going to get, emasculated in a sense by the N64 and the PlayStation 1 coming out. And as far as like the Game Boy, as far as like simplicity, as far as it being a handheld device and competing against the Game Boy, which would have been the only real competition for it, it would have been clunky. No one would want to take this out with them into the world, despite Gunpei Yokoi's visions of people walking in the streets with fucking Virtual Boy visors on their heads, which again, impossible to overstate how stupid an idea that would have been, how dangerous and risky, how much hot water that would have put Nintendo in for this to have come out as a fully portable console.
Falling down the stairs is good for your bones, actually.
Yeah. It's just the wrong device at the wrong time. It was just... I understand why Gunpei Yokoi was fascinated by the technology that refractions were working on, by the 3D view, or whatever it was called initially, the private eye, I believe. Why he was fascinated, compelled by their tech, and wanted to integrate that into a console. I think it would have been better served as a sort of peripheral, or, maybe like... I'm thinking like, this is a bad idea as I say it out loud, as I think about this, as I give verbiage to this, but like Game & Watches, where you buy like a visor per game or something, that wouldn't have worked. That's a bad idea. The more I even like ponder it.
I mean, as you're talking, you are slowly approaching the R zone from Tiger Electronics.
Yeah, ultimately.
Which also didn't work.
Which also didn't work, but was Tiger's attempt to hedge their bets to say, well, if this Virtual Boy catches on, we want to have our cheapo version of that. Yeah, no, I think the Virtual Boy sucks. I think the conclusion ultimately we have to come to is that the Virtual Boy is pretty awful. That the form that it did exist in, the form factor and the catalog of games for it that don't capitalize on it, for the most part, is pretty bad. that it was pretty much doomed out the gate for a multitude of reasons, one of the least of which being the fact that it was initially designed as a portable system and therefore was stuck with portable system specs with weaker hardware than could have been available for it. I mean, in a best case scenario where they, design it from the ground up knowing it was going to be in the home, give it slightly more powerful hardware, it was still a stopgap system. It was still something that would have existed in between the Game Boy and the N64. And just would have been slotted, only given so many resources. I think it's an experiment. I think this is the sort of thing where Nintendo puts us out in the market to humor Gunpei Yokoi because they put so much trust in this man who is championing this technology that they're like, okay, we don't have any faith in this thing, but you are really insistent on this, so we will see this through the completion, and we will give you this amount of time to turn this ship around, to do something with this, and if you don't, we're pulling the fucking plug on it. And so they did, and so they pulled the plug on it, and Gunpei Yokoi died believing that if he had been given more money to market it with, to promote it, that he could have somehow done something with it. Which goes to show that even like geniuses of technology are not necessarily born marketers, are definitely not born with an understanding of what consumers want. Gunpei Yokoi got it right a bunch of times between developing the Game & Watch games and the Game Boy, the technology that drove the Game Boy. He was definitely a smart dude, and by all accounts, a nice dude, a good dude to work with. But he was so off base with the Virtual Boy and having any belief in this thing. And, at the end of the day, it's all about the games. To quote the N-Gage advertising campaign, it's about the games, stupid. And they just did not have any games that are particularly compelling for this thing that really took full advantage of the Virtual Boy hardware. And were also good games to boot, to pair with that. And so that's going to put a nail in your fucking coffin no matter what you do. The fact that Nintendo themselves hampered, they sort of shot Gunpei in the leg, left him hobbling without fucking Mario, like in a preeminent role. I mean, all you get is Mario's Tennis and Mario Clash, and those two ain't system movers either. Yeah, it's just so many bad ideas coming together in conjunction with one another to provide a system in history that, of course, Nintendo tried to bury this thing for decades. Of course, they tried to pretend like it didn't exist. Of course, they have deprioritized this and been embarrassed by it for going on 30 years. And of course, it is also so Nintendo to capitalize on it now, with that Nintendo Switch Online offering, that peripheral and whatnot, to so many years removed, so many years of this in the rear view mirror, to cynically try to capitalize on it now, and not even do that in a particularly compelling or in a way that I find, acceptable. Upcharging on the peripheral, having two different versions of the visor out, forcing the subscription, limiting the library, not just launching it all at once, trying to piecemeal that shit to keep your subscription going. Just all these things they do that Nintendo will never stop doing, nickel and diming and fleecing the consumer, and relying on the fact that people are so devoted to the brand that it's so nostalgic for them, or it's just sunk cost fallacy, or they are really just that fervent. They really do just, all they need every few years is their Animal Crossing, Zelda, and Mario, and that's all the games they need. Whatever it is to be a Nintendo fan in the year 2026, to go see the new Mario Brothers movie in theaters right now, to just be trapped in this cycle of Nintendo putting out these over-expensive, completely niche things that manage to succeed in spite of themselves and in spite of their business practices. And, what's funny is, considering all that back in 1996, they had the good sense to kill this fucking system dead. That back then, they knew well enough that, no, we have to keep dropping the price on this. No, we can't sell this for the price that we were selling it initially. We need to drop the price on this, or the consumers will have our fucking heads. Yeah, sell this thing for $99. and that's not working, discontinue it. We're not sinking any more money into this fucking thing. We are not going to try to scam our consumers into continuing to support this piece of crap. We are not going to keep fleecing them or pretending like the system isn't dead in the water. We know when to hang it up. We are Nintendo in 1995, and we will not hold true to these laurels, to these lessons, to these beliefs of ours. But for a moment in time, they made the right call to kill this thing in the crib. And now they're monetizing it again at a time where the economy is at its worst to charge hundreds of dollars to own the fucking plastic shell that enables you to play this garbage. Nintendo, man. Anyhow, with all that being said, that's as much as I can come up with as for a conclusion on the Virtual Boy, but we are not done yet. There is still the business of ranking the final games played tonight. Bring up that list. There it is. That wasn't the smooth animation I was hoping for. Okay. Any of these games we got to take off. Niko-chan Battle.
Virtual League Baseball 2, I think.
You're going to take that one off even though that was a complete game.
Okay.
I think we'll go with these four. I think we'll go with these four here. Let's start with Nestor's Funky Bowling.
Okay, so that was better than the other bowling game. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
so
definitely better than Virtual Bowling.
I would dare say worse than Galactic Pinball, better than golf, I think. Golf wasn't very good.
It wasn't. This wasn't very good. You know, I'll go with you on that one. I'll take that leap with you and put it at number 11. Because it's definitely better than Virtual Bowling. I hated Virtual Fishing. I hated golf. I hated most games on this list.
Yeah.
Speaking of hate, 3D Tetris.
I still think that SD Gundam is worse than this.
I disagree heartily. SD Gundam is not good at all. It's garbage. It sucks. It's a piece of fucking trash. It's one of the worst strategy games I've ever played. 3D Tetris is one of the worst video games I've ever played, period. I think this is absolutely unacceptable that this was released for money.
I think with SD Gundam, okay, with 3D Tetris, like, it was still bad, but there are moments where I get it, where I see the vision and where I see, like, what the controls are supposed to be. It falls apart. To be fair, it will fall apart, but there's moments there at the start of a game where I'm like, okay, I get this. SD Gundam doesn't have that. SD Gundam at all points for me was like, I don't know what they're going for with this. Like, I don't know what they're thinking of how this game controls, with how this game presents itself.
It's just bad strategy.
Like,
it's bad turn-based strategy, grid-based strategy on the map, and then it's a bad combat system attached to it. I can see what they were going for. As a game that didn't need to be on the Virtual Boy, to be sure. That, you know, as a like a Game Boy game would have also been bad. As a fucking SNES game would have been bad. Just happens to be bad on the Virtual Boy. 3D Tetris is a beast unique to the Virtual Boy that demonstrates all the weaknesses of the Virtual Boy in one compact little package, while also delivering the worst version of Tetris I've ever played in my fucking life, with rules that don't make sense and a perspective that absolutely fucking sucks, that even as you like started to get into it and you found a rhythm, they just stripped you of that rhythm. When the level of complexity goes up even by one notch on the dial, the game becomes absolutely fucking unplayable. A third of the game, that puzzle mode, is absolute just unforgivable in its implementation, which you can write that entire thing off. You can write the main game off. You can write the center clear mode off. There's not an iota of like functional gameplay in this. I
at least got everything. I feel like Tetris was functional to a point. And that point doesn't last very long, but there's some degree of like, I get this, I get what they're doing, and I get how to play this. That does go away. I feel like that was never present in SD Gundam. Like, it was so badly... the grid system was so badly implemented that, like, I didn't know what level anything was on relative to anything else. The combat felt so ineffectual, like, at all times. And, like, it felt like a game that I had an iota of enjoyment out of 3D Tetris. There was like moments where I was like, I get this, I'm fine with this, I'm getting absorbed in this. None of that in SD Gundam at all. Never a moment in SD Gundam where I was like, yeah, this is tolerable.
I get where you're coming from, but I can imagine someone getting something out of SD Gundam. I can't imagine anyone getting anything out of 3D Tetris. And I'll be proved wrong on that. I'm sure there are 3D Tetris defenders, but what it comes down to for me is SD Gundam, complex idea executed poorly, more complex than they were equipped to handle. 3D Tetris, one of the simplest ideas, executed fucking horrendously, war crime level egregiousness of bad. In terms of what should be a very basic fucking premise. It's fucking Tetris. And they ruined it. They murdered it. They absolutely, unequivocally fucking failed at it. This is one of the worst video games I've ever played in my fucking life.
I cannot see 3D Tetris, in my mind, being as bad as you have hyped it up to be, having played it myself. Now, granted, awful. It sucks. It's bad. But, I don't know. To a certain extent, I got it. And like when I was playing, I was like, okay, I see what I'm doing, and I was able to play it again to a point. But like SD Gundam for me just had nothing. For some moments, I was enjoying my time playing 3D Tetris briefly, and that never happened with SD Gundam.
I'm not gonna get you to budge on it. That's fine, but I can't.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't gonna win this
I
one.
have to pull the override on this one because I just cannot allow 3D Tetris to be anything other than the worst game. It's the worst. It is just the worst to me. Fuck. And that will do it for the officially released games. We are going to put a couple prototypes on, though, because I think, at the very least, that Bound High could potentially score somewhere up here.
I would... absolutely above Mario Clash, in my mind. But... maybe... I am on the fence with Vertical Force. I do not know if it goes one above or one below Vertical Force.
I would be willing... I would put it above Vertical Force. And again, this is coming from me being like sick looking at Bound High, but I can at least appreciate what it's doing. It has variety. It has some charm to it. It uses the Virtual Boy effectively for what it is.
Right, which Vertical Force also did actually have a fairly good use of 3D.
But Bound High, I think I'm more inclined to appreciate.
Yeah, I think I am leaning more towards like it being the new number 3.
I think that's fine for an unreleased game, but it could have been released because it was a finished game. It was a finished product, by my estimation. Which leaves us at the last game, Virtual League Baseball 2. I'm content to put this one just one spot above Virtual League Baseball.
Magic Masters, I thought while you were playing Nesty's Funky Bowling, you said Virtual Bowling is better. No, quite the opposite.
Yes. Just one above Virtual League Baseball? Or would you want to put it above Virtual Bowling?
I'm not sure if I... It's definitely way better than the original baseball, but I'm not sure if that's going to translate into it being mini spaces above Virtual League Baseball. So yeah, one above. Sounds right.
Very good. Okay, and we're not going to put any of the homebrew on here. Just because it wouldn't be fair. I mean, it's really not fair putting the prototypes
number 1.
on. Bad Apple, number 1. That'll do it for Virtual Insanity. That'll do it for the list. Now for the ceremonial final reading of the list of the rankings. Mute the music for this. At number 1, the best game for the Virtual Boy by our objective measurement, by our rankings, is Innsmouth no Yakata by Bebop and IMAX. Number 2, second best, Virtual Boy Wario Land by way of Nintendo. Number 3, Bound High by Japan System Supply. Number 4, Vertical Force by way of Hudson Soft, published by Nintendo. Number 5, V Tetris by Bulletproof Software. Number 6, Mario Clash by Nintendo, believe it or not. Number 7, Panic Bomber by Hudson Soft. Number 8, Virtual Lab by our friend Megutan, also known as Nikoti, published by J-Wing. Number 9, Space Squash by Tomcat System and Coconauts Japan. Number 10, Mario's Tennis by way of Nintendo. Number 11, Galactic Pinball by way of Intelligent Systems and Nintendo. Number 12, Nestor's Funky Bowling by Sapphire Corporation, published by Nintendo. Number 13, Golf, developed by T&E Soft, published by Nintendo. Number 14, Virtual Fishing, published by Pack and Video, developed by Locomotive Corporation. Number 15, Virtual Bowling, published and developed by Athena. Number 16, Virtual League Baseball 2 by Kemco. Number 17, Virtual League Baseball by Kemco. Number 18, Jack Bros by Atlas. Number 19, Waterworld by way of Ocean Software. Number 20, Telero Boxer by way of Nintendo. Number 21, Red Alarm by way of T&E Soft, published by Nintendo. Number 22, the third worst game for the Virtual Boy, is Space Invaders Virtual Collection by way of Taito. Number 23, the second worst game, SD Gundam Dimension War, developed by Locomotive Corporation on behalf of Bandai. And number 24, the worst game for the Virtual Boy, by my measure anyway. One of the worst games I have ever fucking played. One of the worst games ever. The worst game for one of the worst consoles is 3D fucking Tetris, developed by T&E Soft, published by Nintendo. What a piece of fucking garbage. And that will do it for the list. We're done. We don't gotta look at the Virtual Boy anymore. Oh, it feels good to be free. It feels good to take this visor off. I've been wearing it for months now, and oh god, the imprint on my face. Oh, that really dug in. Actually, I can't see
you
much
wear
of
the hat
anything.
over your eyes so
Yeah.
no one can see it.
Oh, with all that said and done, folks, thank you for coming along with us on this Virtual Boy retrospective known as Virtual Insanity. Thank you for sticking with it. Thank you for sticking with us. 4 episodes. Not the longest commitment we've made in terms of a long-form series. In fact, it's the shortest long-form series we've put up. But it was a good one. It was a good, concise one. I was glad to get a console completely done and dusted. Who's to say we don't revisit maybe 1 or 2 of these games in some capacity down the line? But that's an entire console catalog here on the show, ranked and everything. We could do more of these. We could do this again for a long-form series for some other platform. Maybe one with more games, maybe one with less. There are a few with less out there. But yeah, I'm proud of the fact we got that one done so tidily, so concisely, so quickly. Any last-second thoughts from you as far as the series with it done and dusted now?
I'm just glad that, yeah, we finally managed to get this. And like you said, managed to get an entire console's history into this thing.
And again,
and then some.
That first episode, which has the history section in it, which goes over the history of the Virtual Boy, definitely the favorite part of this whole series for me. Definitely the having that on the record, having a historical record of the Virtual Boy presented in that way, I was happy to provide. So please, if you're coming into the series late, definitely check out that first episode. If you want to hear us go over the whole history of the Virtual Boy and give context to this whole series to follow the games played and so on and so forth. Man, I'm glad we got this done before you had to take your break as well. I know you were kind of hanging in there to get this done before your break, as a matter of fact.
Because I kind of scheduled my break around this series.
Around finishing this out, and I thank you for that. And, just at the end of this episode, before you go on that break, since it's the last time for a couple months that folk might see you here on the YouTube channel, I do want to send you my best. I want folk to know that, I'm going to miss the fuck out of you, that we will keep things going. Like I said, we'll keep the seat warm for you, but know that you will be missed, that you are the heart and soul of this Bad Game Hall of Fame thing. And that I thank you for putting up with me for all this time and the harsh taskmaster that I am. And I'm glad to see you get a break from me, and you'll come back reinvigorated, remotivated, and then we'll get back to the business of playing bad games together, you and I, Charky.
Yes. Well, thank you.
So with that,
I look forward to coming back after everything's done on my end here.
And we'll look forward to having you back. For now, we look ahead to the stream schedule, where I can tell you that Monday, this coming Monday, April 13th, will be a Casual Monday, the 50th episode of Casual Monday, and the actual last episodes that Charky will be around for the time being. The last scheduled appearance of Charky is on that Casual Monday. It's a show where we play not-so-bad games, shoot the shit a little more casually, so on and so forth. Archives for that one. The VODs don't go up on YouTube for that. They go up on the Patreon, and to our patrons, to folk who financially support the show, have access to that back catalog. You can ask about it in the Patron Saints channel if you want access to those episodes. Again, we're working on something. I promise we're working on something to try and get those episodes more readily and easily available, but otherwise you can catch it live and see it there, and tune in for some fun times and fun conversations and fun games. Tuesday, April 14th, me and Johnny will be going underground for Medal of Honor Underground on the Game Boy Advance, one of the hardest games to look at ever. Maybe comparable to 3D Tetris and how much of a fucking eyesore, how hard it is to distinguish a goddamn thing in that game. And this is a game that Charky, I know, would not tolerate looking at for an extended length of time. So we are getting it done while you are away to spare you that indignity. Thursday, April 16th is still pending on the schedule. Me and Johnny will come up with something. It's always something on the Bad Game Hall of Fame. We'll let you know a little closer to show dates what we come up with for that. And we will have a new patron poll up sometime soon. Saturday, this time next week, we're going to wait a little bit before we debut a new long-form series. We're going to figure out what we want to do for our next long-form series. So we're just going to go with a Light Gun Games extravaganza, another series that Charky has formerly bowed out of because of flashing lights et al.
Not really affecting y'all at home. Flashing lights just affecting people behind the scenes.
Yes, unfortunately, the way that we have to produce this stuff. But yeah, Light Gun Games, and we got a few picked out already, and we might do a few more episodes of that while Charky is away as well. So the long-awaited return of Light Gun Games extravaganza, coming this time next week. Then anything further past that point, we are thinking about it. We have some ideas for some stuff we're gonna do. Don't know exactly when, but we want to do the House of the Dead remake 1 and 2 as a dual episode. That'll be something to look forward to in the near future. And of course, our regular segments like Bad Game Chance Time, Fight Nights. We'll hang up the games from a hat for a bit until Charky comes back, but we'll find some other stuff. We might even come up with some new formats while you're away, Charky, just to try and keep things interesting around here. So please to consider tuning in to future episodes, folk out there watching at home. If you like what you saw here tonight, if you enjoyed this series, if you enjoy our show, consider joining our Discord community, discord.gg/bghof, community of connoisseurs, talk good games, bad games, every game in between, things that aren't games. But if you must talk about games, you can do so in our Bad Game Club, for one thing. Play our Bad Game of the Month, which this month has been Snake's Revenge for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which we just went and played on the show a couple days ago. So, you know, whether you want to play it for yourself or just watch the playthrough, or neither of the above, and you want to wait till next month, we'll have a new game for the Bad Game Club every month. So you can just join the community and stick around and wait for that if you so choose to. Or, you know, just be a participating member, chat with people, hang out with us in calls. All the things you do as part of a Discord community. If you really like what you saw here tonight, you might consider financially supporting us. Pledging on Patreon, subscribing on Twitch, becoming a member on YouTube, any or all of the above will grant you access on that Discord server to a Patreon Saints channel wherein you can vote in polls to determine our future playthroughs. We will have a new one up soon. You can make suggestions to help steer the direction of the show. You can gain access to exclusive content, and we are working on furthering those offerings, always thinking about what we can do on that end. And also, you will just be known, recognized, appreciated by us for your support of this thing, if you choose to do so, if you choose to show up there. And we do thank you, and we appreciate you helping keep the lights on here at the Bad Game Hall of Fame. But if you can't financially support us, we completely understand as well. If you're still looking for a way to support the show, that is free. One of the best ways is to go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@BadGameHallOfFame. And on there, we have a suggested viewing playlist. These are 20 handpicked episodes of the show, handpicked by us, that we think are some of the best episodes of the show, the best for onboarding, the best to show and share with folk you know who might go for video game streams in the 3 to 4 hour range. And we'd highly encourage it, and thank you if you do choose to share those with folk. Or maybe you know someone who bought Nintendo's goddamn Virtual Boy peripheral, and you can link them to this series and remind them, just rub in their face how much of a fool they are for having done so, for having given money to this fucking company again. We'll leave it to your discretion, dear viewer. That's it for the plugs. I'm looking.
Maybe one more thing to plug, since I'm
Please.
heading out for like 2 months, is if you really like the show and want to help contribute to it in general in a way of making streams better in the future, I got a throne. I have a specific help with the stream thing for stuff to make certain parts of the stream better. Specifically, like, you know, a stream deck and Switch 2, so we can actually do Switch stuff on the show more easily than the way we have it set up now. So if y'all have any inclination to help with the crowdfunding on that, that would be appreciated as well. And I think I might as well get that out there before I'm gone for like 2 months.
That is more than fair. I think we're going to raid Cobra Commanda, who is currently playing DuckTales on the NES, it looks like. I think they're doing a variety jam night on real retro consoles. You know, maybe ask them to dust off the Virtual Boy, get that real retro console going. Why don't you? Don't actually bother him with that. Just let him know that the Bad Game Hall of Fame sent you, and so forth. That will do it for us here at the Bad Game Hall of Fame for Virtual Insanity. I have been Catarax Cassidy.
And I've been Homebrew Charky.
Very good. Until next time, until we see you all again, goodbye.
Good night, everybody.